imagination. Gamer Talk. Gamer Talk. The rules make room for mystery. Lore as a compass across the sea. Three wise men, a knowing star, with tales of victory near and far. Gamer Talk, raise up the line, guide us home through rift and night. Open the gate to imagination. Gamer Talk. Gamer Talk.
Hello, legionnaires, and welcome to episode 269 of RPG Digest. I am John Maxley Auschlow. Along with me today, as usual, are Brett Heathen Dog Grismer, Kevin Boomson Siembieda, and transdimensional Sean Robertson. We haven't seen the Colonel in a while, but maybe we'll get him back soon. Join us for another episode of Gamer Talk. Today, you know what? I'm going to get that off the screen. You can just watch me read my script. Today, we're going to talk about the achievements, accomplishments, and influence of Kevin Siembieda and Palladium Books. We'll see how far we get through. I guess this is kind of our part 2. See if there's a part 3. If we finish it up today, we'll find out. As always, we are extremely grateful you are here with us today and sincerely thank you for your time and support to both Legion of Myth and Palladium Books. Before we get started, knock out a couple of announcements here. Please consider supporting Legion of Myth through Super Chats and Rumble Rants. If you prefer to be a silent supporter, there are plenty of links in the description for you to support our efforts and time. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. I have a graphic. Bah!
Always got a graphic.
Here is our current support status bar, which I'll update monthly because that's just how all the information comes. When we fill this bar up in 2026, you can be sure to expect more games and conversations into 2027 and hopefully beyond. Rumble Rants and Super Chats less than $20 will be read at the end of the segment or topic, and those of $20 or more, I will read as immediately as I can without derailing the conversation or the topic. Lastly, a special shout out our new viewers. Hope you enjoy this live stream. Share it with your friends. Come back to join us again. And with all that out of the way, what is good today, gentlemen?
Everything. Life is good. The Gamma Trade Show was great. We had I had a good time, made a lot of great contacts. Looks like we might pick up a few more distributors.
Had
a great time talking with retailers. You know, the not so good is I came back and immediately got sick. So, you know, I was out of commission most of last week, but, so if I sound, if it sounds a little, boy, right on cue.
Like that. Yeah. If he sounds like that, like just that.
There's a reason.
Forgive me.
And, but I'm feeling much better and, sorry for stuff like that when that happens, but,
that's okay. Gaming conventions are a hotbed of disease and, sickness. So, yeah,
that's a ringing endorsement to go to conventions. Gaming conventions.
Well, you have fun while you're there. You just like, hey, don't go back to work the next day, right?
This was the industry one, right? I mean, this is not even like regular gamers.
It doesn't matter.
They're all nerds.
Yeah. All super gamers.
Yeah, there you go.
Somehow they're better.
What about you, Sean?
Not a lot. Just juggling a lot of different things in the background. We've got Star Anvil Studios is launching Savage Phase World for very soon on Kickstarter, and so there's a lot of just looking at the details and making sure we got all the art right and stuff like that. And working on Bestiary 2, and also prepping some playtest materials and stuff like that on my end. And we're talking to lots of people, and we have, I don't know, Kevin, why do we have so many people talking to us? I don't even know, but
we see you.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in the background, right? Like before we announced the TMNT and Other Strangeness Kickstarter, for instance, for months we were saying, hey, there's something really cool coming up, right? And so there's more stuff like that happening too in the background. So
Oh yeah.
Everybody
rest
starts speculating now. Make them feel guilty
Right.
about whatever they don't give you.
Right. So, but I mean, and so we're working with some authors on some unannounced projects because projects will not be announced until we're sure they're imminent and ready for release, ready for imminent release, I guess I should say. Yeah, that's basically what I've been up to, just trying to support Kevin and stuff, and just plow ahead with all of our cool people that we've got talking to us about a lot of different stuff.
Let me hit this super chat real quickly here because it requires me to get drunk on stream. Rift's Earth is stabilized. It's called food.
Yes, that's it. That's what happened.
Thank you, Poly Robotics. Here's the shot. I had to scream at my wife to get me a shot glass because apparently it's missing over here. So thank you very much. This is to Poly Robotics and the $50 super chat. Nothing like a little whiskey on Sunday. All right. So what can you tell us? What kind of news is going on right now that you can tell us?
What is going on that we can tell them?
Yeah, we just launched the adventure and the errata for the TMNT Redux Edition books. So I think we did a pretty good job because there's a lot of little like commas and cross T, dot the I, syntax type stuff that got fixed, but all the stuff that game masters and players really need to be aware of fits on one printed page. But after some of our discussions and chats with some other players in the errata document, we also included an updated version of the Sparrow Eagles.
Sparrow Eagles, yep.
And in the document, I explained when we were doing these books, one of the things that I did, and Kevin and I talked about it, was I wanted to modify the original characters as little as possible. I did some little things like I rebuilt the turtles because one gripe people had was they didn't add up, the math didn't add up for their bio-E for all their options in the original edition. And I made sure that you could actually build the turtles in this edition. But I didn't mess with a lot of other stuff. I wanted to, because the book is kind of in between a new thing and an old thing, right? And so we thought, hey, let's leave the depictions of these like fan favorite characters. Let's leave them alone, even if when I revamped the bio-E and all the different abilities and stuff, and we added 20 new mutant animals. When we did all that, I thought, let's not make that necessarily a fundamental change to all these characters, these legacy characters. That said, the Sparrow Eagles are like the titular, they're Eric Wujcik's original playtest group characters. And so a lot of people were looking, and they're used in examples of character building and things like that. And so after talking with you guys and some other fans, we decided, let's go ahead and update this so that everyone has it in the errata, so they could see how, hey, if you want to build the Sparrow Eagles for real using the new updated rules, this is how you do it. And also it'll be reflected that way in future printings of the book.
Yeah, I think one of the things is sometimes people miss out on, myself included sometimes, is a lot of times NPC characters, it doesn't matter what game you're playing, but since we're talking about Palladium, I know you guys do this, don't always match the rules, so to speak, because they're supposed to be thematic NPC characters, bosses, or whatever. But I will say that, yeah, that one of the things I noticed kind of right off the bat was like, well, the Sparrow Eagles are so prevalent in the book. It's kind of a shame that they didn't actually match, like I'm going to reference them like, oh, there's team characters. How do I make team characters?
Yeah, I didn't realize so many people were going to be doing that kind of math. Yeah. But I should have known, like, you guys have the same sickness that I have where you go through and look through all this stuff, right? I mean, it was really interesting because I had people posting as they're getting their books, people are posting like, oh, I see they tweaked this, I see that means Sean, right? And so it's like, Sean changed this, Sean changed that, gee, I don't know if Sean made the right decision here, but this is what he put, or whatever. So it's kind of fun, but I was just surprised that the I shouldn't have been, right? But the depth of the fandom is a really wonderful thing, and there's sometimes we make decisions like that, and it's like you're wondering which way it's going to get perceived. I've got a pretty good idea for things like that, but when we start monkeying around in some of the core details, that's always one of those things that I don't know how people are going to respond. But yeah, if people want that as a resource, you got it. The fans have spoken. I mean, you got this whole thing because the fans spoke, right?
Yep.
This is the number one thing we got requested, and we're listening to the follow-on requests that the fans have, and we're discussing them with our licensing partners.
No,
So,
I don't know if it's appropriate for a game book necessarily, although I really liked Kevin's editions and Rift's Ultimate Edition with things like the juicer and so forth, like those kind of why explanations. But a lot of times what I've found out, and even as I'm trying to tap dance around some stuff on like the Discord when people are saying this, that, or the other thing, is like when they know why, a lot of times they'll be like, okay, I see where they're coming from there. And it kind of tempers it down a little bit. Sometimes it's like, no, well, that's a dumb reason. Well, that's great. It's a dumb reason, but that's what happened, and there's the reason why. So let's move on now,
And some people will say something's dumb, and then, but that's like one in how many, right? And,
right.
you get like 20 upvotes, and then one guy's like, that's stupid, and it's like,
I mean, one of the things you and I discussed was
everything is 4 out of 5 doctors and 9 out of 10 dentists. There's always that one ass.
Right. So, that's a great way to put it. But it is funny because
stupid. Yeah, there's always that guy.
So that is a legit thing, though. I mean, you literally can't make everybody happy when you go in and work on any of this stuff, right? So, we just, Kevin and I, Kevin's actually coached me a lot on this, because you do what you think is the right thing, you stick to your guns, you make sure you do it for the right reasons, and hopefully people understand it. Now, it doesn't mean you guys can magically know what our intentions were, but you're absolutely right when it comes to, like, Kevin said this a million times before, what makes a great NPC does not make a great player character, right? So the Palladium is different. It actually has a lot more affordance. There's a lot of intentional characters that are intentionally bad guys or whatever. Kevin's like, this is not suggested as a player character. It's more there so the game master can build up this, their own version of a necromancer or witch or whatever it is, right? Or some monster that you probably shouldn't play because it's like it's a blue whale, right? It's like, it's smart, but you live in the water, So that there's things like that, and then but this is very common. I've written for 140,000 the Wrath and Glory role play. I've written for
Pinnacle for sure.
Well, Pinnacle, a ton of stuff for Pinnacle, some stuff for Torg Eternity, and some other stuff. But they all approach that. That's the NPC write-ups do not have to be built out of like character classes. In fact, no one says you should, right? It's what's the right thing to balance this encounter versus a certain power level of heroes or whatever you need in that story. So that's the way that we looked at it too with these characters as well. They're legacy characters, and they were built to be cool characters and NPCs for the story. They're not always going to reflect how you'd build PCs exactly. But again, the Sparrow Eagles, I think that's a legit question of, hey, excuse me, since you're using them in your character building examples and player character examples, could we have a version like that that's has that? And then the other cool thing is the adventure dropped. So it was going to be a short intro adventure. This is a long, you can still play it as an introductory adventure to a campaign. I worked really hard on it to make sure that it was approachable that way by players and game masters, because Sophie had all these cool ideas, and I'm like, how do I fit this in a more easy to run adventure format?
It looked very convention style when I read through it.
I think it would be a little long for a convention, but if you had a good game master who could keep a good pace, a steady pace, and doesn't get like distracted in the weeds, I think you could definitely run it at a convention. Absolutely.
Yeah, Sophie she got inspired, and we're like, whatever, we'll make this work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is not a complaint. It's like, again, we kind of over delivered a little bit. I think it had new art that we hadn't even announced or promised, and it ties into the Sparrow Eagle, their background and stuff. So unfortunately, that means you can't play the Sparrow Eagles in the adventure unless you like their clones or something. But yeah, the turtles are provided as the pre-gens for that adventure. So
Awesome. Let's hit some chat here. So I don't forget it because it's scrolling. There we go. First of all, we did a super chat. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate that. I think you meant the Triceratons from another world or ancient Earth.
they're from another part of
The answer was
the
a little
universe.
later.
Yeah. But it was a super chat. I had to read it and let's
I know. Walter comes up with the clutch answer pretty fast.
I think it's the same universe, just really, really, really far away. So you need a transmat device.
I think so too. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's another dimension.
Okay.
Although the turtles do go to other dimensions, but the early Mirage stuff, I think, was all set in our
galaxy
universe.
far, far away type situation.
Yep.
No, well, I mean, yes, but in our universe, right? So yes, they exist. They're just really, 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 really far away.
Yeah.
So.
And then a couple of well, I like the first part of this one. Will we ever get Rifter omnibuses? Now, this next part I'm not sure is as feasible without a lot of work, but he says, for example, per game collection, like Rifts or collected coalition articles, Beyond the Supernatural, After the Bomb, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'd just like to have an omnibus so I could have, fill up more bookshelf space back there, but like Rifters 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15.
I mean, maybe. Again, we listen to people, and if that's what they want, that's what we'll try to give them.
Never listen to me.
We've been bringing some back in print. Like we but with a changed cover so collectors don't get hurt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're available in PDF.
Yep.
As far as an omnibus, I like the idea. In practice, that's kind of happening. We put when we do the bonus material in the hardcovers, for instance, we're putting in basically the cream of the crop, what we think are the cream of the crop of the Rifter articles for whatever setting, like ninjas and super spies or whatever.
I just think the pain in the butt that it would be to go through to find out, is this related to After the Bomb or is it related to Rifts? And some of them are crossovers too, so it's like you can use this for Rifts and Heroes Unlimited.
Yeah, it's and as you guys have done Rifter reviews. Some of the articles are really awesome.
Yep.
And some of them are, they're good. You know what I mean? And then some of them, though, the awesome ones, you wouldn't necessarily want to make them canon, unless you win another pass through it or something like that.
Yeah, you have to make sure that the things it introduces doesn't break something, that is like 3 steps removed from it without actually checking it out.
They provide such awesome options, though, and again, non-canon, but options for game masters. I actually think that the Rifter is amazing for the most part.
I think it's great, and we want to get to doing another one again. People ask about the delay, and it's just if you remember, it was like a couple of years back now. Wayne fell off a roof and was injured, and working from home for a while, and then Turtles happened, and Kathy passed away, and Wayne helped me, pull up that slack. We had to reorganize a lot of different stuff to keep Palladium rolling because a lot of people a lot of fans maybe don't know, Kathy was doing like daily order processing and stuff for Palladium. So Kevin was gone and Kathy was gone, and I came into the office. I'm like, I think I was sleeping there, but I was like, hey, Wayne, we need to figure out how to do 2 people's jobs without them.
Well, another thing I think people don't realize, think about also, is that Wayne and Alex knew and loved Kathy for as long as I did.
Yes.
And, obviously in a different way as friends, but, it impacted everybody's work capacity on so many levels. And the fact that, Sean and Wayne and Al, all stepped up was awesome. Caleb. But it was hard for everybody.
Yeah, and you know, I'd only known Kathy a couple of years. Not like I mean, Wayne and Al had known her for decades, right? So, and
And
worked with
work
her
closely with.
daily, right? So, yeah. Anyways, that was tough for everybody. So, one of the big things though is we've got a bunch of, and there's some administrative backlog and stuff that we're clearing through. And then we got a lot of things we're juggling that are exciting behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and then of course, Turtles was just big. And then EU regulation changes and all these other fun things for packaging and all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff like that that it seems like some annoying thing when we put it in our newsletter. Well, guess what? If it annoys you, guess how much it annoys us. Um, and Wayne's one of the guys. Wayne, Jeremy, you know, Caleb, they're Kevin, Alex. You know, we're all solving it, but Wayne is one of those guys that's really deep in the weeds on that stuff,
Yep.
solving those problems. So we really, again, people have asked me, and actually everyone's really positive. When's the next Rifter coming? It's like, hey, as soon as we can free up Wayne, which we're trying really hard to do, we can get another Rifter out. You know, but and another thing about a lot of this stuff when people talk about you know, collections and stuff is you have to understand the format that the articles are in right now, or like the Rifters and the PDFs and stuff like that is you know, we when we did Titan Robotics, we went back and remastered all the related books, and we're kind of taking that approach because remastering stuff is actually quite a bit of work. Remastering the TMNT books for the Redux edition, and then the heavy, I guess you would say, update pass that I did, especially on the rules sections, and the eventually it's mostly all rules and adventure material. But so I put a lot of elbow grease into it, right? And so I just want fans to understand it's like we don't want to do just like, oh, let's lazy reprint stuff. And so what we're trying to do is take an approach where, like when we did the Cyborgs collection, I included some stuff from Rifter #1 for the Archie's bots. And that Rifter #1 had inspired a lot of things that actually became canon in Sumerian Nation and Titan Robotics. So that's kind of our approach, is to try and do it holistically. One of the big things that we're really excited about doing that fans suggested when I launched Titan Robotics, are like, will you do this for Antarctica too? And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that, you know, Kevin. But they were like, we did the Cyborgs collection, and people were like, will you do a collection with Antarctica? And so the Cyborgs collection has been way more successful than I expected.
Yep.
We keep having to reprint it, and so we want to do, and I think there'll be an even bigger value add is we want to do a Splugorth collection, because the Splugorth are important in Antarctica, and so there. And I know personally, working on Rifts for Savage Worlds, I know that the Splugorth stuff lore is spread across like almost 20 books. So a collection, instead of like, well, Cyborgs collection, it was like, oh, here's some stuff from a Rifter, here's Source Book 1 revised, you know, Sumerian Nation source book 2 Mechanoids, boom, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. That was a remaster job, and that was work. But you know, that's people thought that was a value add. It's got rear indexes, all this really nice stuff, really crisp, beautiful art, hardcover, full color, hardcover. You know, the cover itself is full color. Well, when we do the Splugorth collection, I think it's going to be really cool for people, but it's going to take more work, right? There's going to be more editing work there to, you know, turn that into a nice flow of information and chunks of info from a lot of different books. So we're working on it in a way that I think is more bite-sized than just throwing out like a reprint omnibus.
Well, one of the reasons everyone loves our book so much and loves the lore so much is not just that, gee, Kevin and Sean and Eric Wojcik and our other contributors are just brilliant writers. You know, thanks for thinking that. But, you know, it really boils down to there's a lot of elbow grease put on those books. We take our time, we do them right. You know, we would do a lot of research. You'd be amazed how much research goes into a frickin' fantasy or science fiction book. You know, so we try to do our homework, and we try to do our best work. You know, it's if we have old art that was originally done in grayscale, but appeared in a different way in a previous book. We'll go back and dig up that old art and put it in, and laying stuff out and thinking about how layout goes. Like, one of the things I'm really thrilled about, and I'm very proud of Sean, is we've gotten comment after comment after comment about how easy the adventures in the two Ninja Turtle Redux editions are to play, that a game master can just pick it up and do it. Sean thought about, hey, Kev, I want to color code it. What do you think? And I want to move this around and that around. What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, if it makes it easier to play. But again, it wasn't just, hey, this is an idea and you do it. I mean, it sounds simple when you talk about it, but then you have to go through and think about it and think about how you want to rearrange that. And, should this be tweaked or that be tweaked? And, it all takes time, unfortunately. And, if other things get in the way, life gets in the way, sometimes that breaks up your concentration. But as far as other things that are coming, the second edition, updated version of Island at the Edge of the World for Palladium Fantasy, that should go to the printer in a week or two.
It's got all the art, the original art has been wonderfully grayscaled, because it was just black and white.
Yeah.
By Jeremy, what's his last name? It's not Cole Antonio. Colwell, thanks.
Yeah.
But the same guy that did the black, white, and red edition art in the Ninja Turtles, the hit, everyone loves it. They see it in print, they go bananas, like we did. He did the grayscale. He did the basically black and white, like watercolor, on the old art, and it looks really good. So
yeah, because a lot of that art was not just black and white, but a lot of it was almost like just thin line art with not a lot of blacks or crosshatch or that kind of thing.
shading,
so just kind of very simple, and this really brings them to life and really pops them. So we're always thinking about ways that we can make our books better and a more fun experience for our
just
players.
like if you guys got Yinsloth Jungles, right? Yinsloth Expeditions coming. The Yinsloth Jungles had vastly updated maps and things like that, and then a lot of the stuff
mostly in Expedition, Sean, because most of the adventures.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the maps are in Expeditions.
But there's a few that appear in Yinsloth Jungles, but you're going to see like frickin' 30 redone.
Right. You'll see like there's a few big hero maps, like the Palladium world and the continent and things like that. And then there's like some stuff at the end of the book about some of the orc kingdoms and things like that. And city states. But then when you get into Expeditions, Kevin's right. That you're like I'm pointing to one book, and the next book is got like so many more that I think it'll blow a lot of people's minds. So, in a good way, right? I just don't, we're wanting to make sure that we put this back out in style. So, that's been our approach, is to up our game as much as we can with all these books, including rear indexes, title pages that sync literally with the headlines from each page, and chapter title and stuff like that throughout the book.
So and then, as I mentioned in the in either this last weekly update or the previous one, and again, I recommend people at least skim those, because there really is news and announcements. And
when I get to them, I do post them on my Discord. It's just sometimes I forget to check my email.
But one of the things that we're kicking around are ways to celebrate Palladium's 45th anniversary. I mean, we're 45 years old this year, as you can tell by the white hair. And it's we want to do some special things. I mean, some of those will be sales, and some will be our typical type sales, and others will be flash sales, only last a day or two. And we're kicking around, special edition book or two we might be able to do, and ideas like that. And we're open to other ideas. The weekend conversation of Kevin Siembieda next month. I mean, was inspired by the Detroit Historical Museum exhibit and us doing all these videos and talking about the history of palladium. And I thought, hey, we're 45. That might be a cool thing to do. Just something kind of small, 60 or so people, and have people come in and just hang out. And they can ask us questions like they do here on this show and other shows. And, but we'll be there in person, and they can talk not just to me, but to Alex and to Wayne and to some of the other freelancers who may be popping in. So, we're kicking around ideas. So if you guys have ideas out there, send them to us, contact us through the help desk or an email or whatever.
So I have a vision. I have a vision right now. It's the 250th year of the United States, right? It's the 45th year of Palladium Books. You've got that Chaos Earth glitter boy with his American flag out there.
Yep.
And I don't know, take it from there.
we did do a new poster of that. We did do a new poster of that. We had Mike Majestic colorize a piece of art that Freddie Williams had done for the Rifter a long time ago. Kevin had it in his office.
And Palladium forces behind him.
We'll give it some thought.
Yeah. Actually, one of the questions at that for next month, if anyone is watching, I want you to ask this question. Kevin, why did you choose a mustache?
I actually have an answer for that.
Well, no. Don't say it.
You can see this at.
Hey, I just realized if you put me and Kevin together, you have a full head of hair, a mustache, and a full beard.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, they'll all be different colors. You'd be like, oh, that stupid punk, like that. But get off my lawn, whatever.
It's just funny. Yeah. I have like my facial hair is
yes.
a literal inversion of Kevin
hair sections. Yes.
It's what is that the Spock's beard episode where they're alternate realities?
The what do you call it?
Fu Manchu or whatever.
Alternate universe or whatever. I forget.
Yeah, the evil Spock goatee.
Oh, the Van Dyke. Yeah. The goatee-ish thing. Yeah.
We got a super chat here.
Van Dyke.
Wow, it's a big one. It covers everybody up.
It does.
Hello there, everybody. Here's some funding for Rifts Quebec and Federation of Magic. Didn't you cover Federation of Magic? Or did you not?
There's a revised, expanded Federation of Magic.
Yeah. I thought Heathen Dog covered it at some point, but maybe I'm wrong. With a little bit of extra for yourselves. We'll appreciate that. Also, Kevin, Sean, I hope you're able to eventually get a deal going to have TMNT in PDF format eventually have a good one. Before they answer this one, holy crap, I get yelled at for you guys not having like it's like video after video. Anytime we talk about TMNT, where's the PDFs? They can't do it because of Paramount, blah, blah, blah. No, where's the PDF? I don't know to tell you. I don't have one anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things so a lot of people, they're like, well, these guys don't know what they're doing. And it's like, right. And it's funny because we were told by everybody in the industry when we quietly made questions preparing for negotiating for the license, we were told by many prominent people within the industry, you can't get turtles.
Yep.
As an RPG, you can't get it. We've tried, can't be done. And it did happen. And I think it's because of the wonderful legacy that Kevin Siembieda has with Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and the reputation of Palladium Books within the hobby. And that's just straight up. And interestingly enough, I mean, one of the big things because there's months of negotiation behind the scenes, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman both voiced interest in working with Palladium Books again when they heard even rumblings of this happening.
Yep.
And basically all the old Mirage artists were gung-ho. And then all the IDW, I mean, like Sophie Campbell. I mean, a lot of people from IDW and and stuff also wanted to be a part of the project once it was officially announced. So I think that that's really cool, and I think we did a great job. I mean, I'll just be honest. I don't know if anyone else could have done it. I don't think, and it took me and Kevin combined. I don't know if I know I couldn't have done it without Kevin. I don't know if it would have happened without me there too. It was a really interesting situation, and a lot of detailed negotiations. And so one of the big things was though is Paramount and Palladium. You know, we really wanted to launch in at the end of 2023, and so rather than hold up these Redux edition books over, you know, a bunch of haggling over PDFs, we decided, you know, let's just put this aside and let's move forward and with what we've got. And we're very happy with it. And if we get to do more, we're listening. We hear you guys.
Yeah.
If we get to do more, if we you know, we've definitely broached the subject again with Paramount and Nickelodeon. And if we can find a good way to make it happen, that's cool. And the other thing people have to understand is, you know, there's different people that are part of these organizations. These are massive, massive organizations. So, you know, just because the guy, you know, the cool people at Magpie got to do XYZ with Avatar, the role, you know, the Legends role-playing game or whatever, doesn't mean that we're going to get like the same thing, or that our contracts look in any way similar, that we're dealing with any way similar to the same people, or that this, even if it is the same people, that they maybe don't have new concerns that may have cropped up during that contract. I don't know. And I don't know. Like, there's no way that I'm probably going to know that. You know, Kevin calls it Hollywood talk, but there's a lot of things that they drop. There's very subtle hints. It's as opposed to like really overt stuff. So there's a lot of legal considerations at a lot of levels. So, you know, it's super interesting. Me as a, you know, was such a fan, you know, 10 years ago, and now doing this stuff, it's like eye-opening to the, you know, waking up to this world. But we were really focused on getting to do really awesome tabletop products.
Yep.
And that's why we really focused on what we did. We were super excited to get to do miniatures at all, even though it was a Kickstarter exclusive, and a bunch of other stuff, because a lot of that was they showed trust. They let us do these things that they haven't done before. They're nervous about, right? So anyway, I don't know, Kevin, if you wanted to add anything to that.
Yeah,
But
so one of the things you know, people don't really realize, don't think about it, but you know, I'm really kind of glad you brought up Magpie Games, which are really nice people, by the way. I met one of the founders at the
Gamma. Yeah, we've been one of these emails I was talking about. Why are we emailing all these people?
And but you got to understand, from a Hollywood, from business perspective, Avatar and Turtles are two very different IPs. If you really start to think about it, I mean, Avatar, when they did the game, it's an animated series. There's some, you know, comic book stuff, but it's a smaller kind of license, as opposed to Turtles, which has been around for 40 years, has had multiple movies made, has an ongoing toy line, has ongoing apparel, has all kinds of things happening.
Top level comic book series, 2 of them, right now.
2 of them. There's like, I mean, 2 major, but I mean, there's like, I don't know, there's like a dozen Ninja Turtle comics out right now, different settings and characters. And so, I mean, Turtles is just huge. And so, from a business point of view, Paramount already has commitments to people doing, say, action figures. And so when we say, hey, we'd like to do miniatures, the action figure people go, hey, wait a minute.
Rabble.
Isn't that our area?
But then they have legitimate concerns, right? They're paying for their license for what they're doing too.
Absolutely.
Just like we're paying them, just like we're paying Paramount and Nickelodeon to do this license, right? I mean, that's just FYI, that's how it works. When someone does a license, they pay the person that owns the IP. You know, it's funny, people talk about like Risk for Savage Worlds as if Kevin went to them and asked them to print it. And it's like, no, like, you know, Shane gave Kevin money.
Well, hang on.
To give us money.
I always imagined the way a large multinational corporation works is I picture my dream that I want to collaborate with them on has to go through a dozen or more different boxes in that company, and each box has a wrench that could just fall into my gears at any moment.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
basically.
so I have to navigate to make sure I get through those boxes and none of those wrenches fall and the end product still looks desirable to me. That sounds
Right, and-
exhausting.
It can be. I have to say, working with Paramount so far has been very nice. They get it. One of the really cool things is that the two main people we're dealing directly with, and I'm sure behind the scenes, they are massaging things and explaining things to the different higher ups and the different categories of things. I'm sure they reached out to, for example, the action figure people and said, hey, we got this fan thing, let me explain what it is, and they really want to do minis, and the fans love minis, and can we do minis, we'll be okay. They're doing a lot of stuff for us behind the scenes too. That's not always the case when you go after licensing.
Yeah, we're not getting for instance, the Paramount Nickelodeon folks are really awesome. They really understand it, and if they don't, they try and get it right. Some of the new people, one of the new guys, newer that we're working with over the past few years, he's actually enjoys tabletop role playing games as well. So he actually understands some things that we had to explain to one of the business executives before. But they're really cool to work with, and they're not, because it would, for them, sometimes it'd just be easier to say, no, we're not going to do that. That's just not going to happen, right? And they haven't done that. They've been really cool and very collaborative. I think I've said multiple times how Jeff Whitman, who's credited in the books, he's the one that suggested the black, white, and red edition, right? And as we continue to talk with them, he has other really cool ideas. They're very collaborative with us, and so that feels really great. And so we don't want it to come off like, anything bad on that level. We've actually heard really positive things about working with Paramount in general from other people working on their various other IPs, like the Trek stuff and everything. So, but we just want to let people know, like, we're actually really happy with the what we got, and we hope we hear you. We hope we can do PDFs or something and make something happen with that in the future. But we're not going to burn the IP to the ground over it. And you just have to understand, sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how these things work. I don't know. I don't think Pinnacle would be upset with us saying it. We because Kevin hasn't, for a long time, Kevin didn't want Pinnacle doing poker decks because we do poker decks. Pinnacle or Palladium does poker decks. And sometimes there's just little things like that it's like, oh, why? And it's like, well, we have a vested interest at some level. So, there's little things like that.
And just because we have a really nice relationship with the main people we're dealing with, that doesn't mean there's not hoops to jump through and wrenches to dodge or prevent from falling. And it's always tricky. The bigger the IP, the more tricky it is to navigate. But it's worthwhile. And we really wanted to do these books, and where it goes next, you'll have to wait and see.
One of the things that I would like to, again, based on the comments that I constantly get anytime I put out a video on this stuff, it's the lack of PDF, whether you blame Kevin and Sean or you listen to me and you blame Nickelodeon or Paramount or whomever you want to blame, isn't an attack on you or me. This oh, so they just don't understand their audience. That's what it is. No, maybe they do understand their audience, but as these guys were just talking about, those hoops aren't worth jumping through at this time. Maybe it's something that they can address later. But everybody acts, if they didn't understand their audience, they wouldn't have a business. Like that's. Well,
I think Kevin got the audience from 1985. I think 1984, really, right? I mean, Kevin gets the audience. We are listening to the audience.
But this goes beyond you. This even goes into the whole Paramount thing. Those are start saying, "Oh, Paramount just doesn't understand anything."
No, I don't fault them at all.
No, not at all.
It's a complicated subject, and I'm not. We can't really go into these different vagaries of all this kind of stuff. But there's a whole bunch of stuff about just the way books are distributed and how little royalties go to creators and stuff like that on traditional book selling digital platforms, let's say, that can, if a whole industry is trying to deal with that problem, and then we're in this niche other industry, that baggage can carry over and cause all kinds of gunk in the machine of how Paramount's trying to protect its IP. So I'll just put it at that. If anybody is familiar with all that kind of stuff.
Well, and a good example of them caring about their fans, let's think about it, guys. Paramount, Viacom, all these big companies, they're multi-billion-dollar companies. The fact that they even gave us this license, a little rinky-dink role-playing game company, speaks volumes of they understand the market, they understand their fans, and they want to work with people that they trust that can give the fans what they want. So, we gave you 90% of what we could, and, a few things weren't available, or we couldn't make work within the time constraints that we were looking at. And, can we work around those in the future? We'll see. But, Paramount, like I said, they're one of the best companies I ever worked with licensing, and even spoke to about licensing.
Yep.
I mean, we've talked about crazy stuff here and there in various platforms, but I mean, when I went after Predator, I mean, we were I know part of it is Sean and I are fans of this stuff ourselves, so we know what people want. And so it was in the early 1990s, late 80s, I think early 90s. I went after the Alien and the Predator license because I wanted to do Alien versus Predator as a game. And, one of the things right away is you could get the license for Alien, you could get the license for Aliens, or like the next two Alien movies, but you couldn't get them all together. Each one was considered a separate license, and you had to pick one.
Oh, wow.
And so, for example, we were going to pick Aliens because you had the most gear and cool shit, and the Queen Alien, and that would be great. And then we ran into the same problem with the frickin' Predator. It's like, okay, you can license the Predator 1 movie. This is back in the time there weren't all the other Alien and Predator movies. Or you could or you could license Predator 2. And, I think everyone would agree that Predator is the better movie, but we were looking at licensing Predator 2 because, again, it had more gadgets and gear and stuff that we could build
Bigger
on.
world.
And, it just gets really wild when you start looking, working with Hollywood, because they compartmentalize so much stuff. But that's how they make money, and that's how they can have more than one license out there by doing things like that. It just gets kind of crazy. But
I can imagine the elevator pitch for the whole Predator thing. You got 10 seconds. Tell me about this game you want to make. I'm gonna have me some fun. I'm gonna have me some fun. I'm good. Just do that quote, and you know what? You're a fan. You're in. You got the IP.
Yeah, if it only worked like
And you roll dice. Yeah.
And you roll dice.
I mean, no shade on Danny Glover, but I would have gone after one. Predator. I mean, Danny Glover's a good actor, but
well, again, we're looking at building the world.
I understand.
It clearly showed aliens and predators had clashed because they had seen inside the ship. You had various weapons and gear and different kind of weapons and gear. So, I'm looking at it from a world building, RPG setting point of view. But yeah, no, Predator 1, it's classic. There's a reason people still watch it and love it and go, why can't other movies be this good?
All right, I got two quick things that we got to knock out. Then we're going to get into our actual
subject
topic. I know that, hey, this doesn't. Hey, everybody's eating this up in the comments and so forth. So I'm not going to let this stop. But I know Heathen Dog started 2 comments. I want to finish up with the super chat real quickly, just so somebody doesn't think that I balked out of this. Here's the whiskey for William Sonova. Put that back up on the screen. I'm going to take a couple more minutes before I drink it again. Unless you really all want me to down it now, I'm not going to get drunk over it. But I like to pace it when I got people on, or things might get weird. You might see clothes start flying places or something. But in the
Whoa.
meantime, Heathen Dog has a couple of comments that he started that he wants to bring up as well.
Well, first we have Walter, who became a member again for 26 months. It's over 2 years. Aside from the Palladium-owned IP, what is your holy grail setting / IP you would love to make an RPG of? This is for both of you. So,
Kevin knows my answer, but I'm not allowed to answer.
Okay, that's cryptic. So, what IP would you like to make a game out of? Like, you have a genie magic lamp situation. You can do it. Kevin, go.
To be honest, I think I've kind of done mine. I love.
You're gonna waste a genie wish.
I did. I did. I used to be a huge Star Wars fan, and that for decades that had been my golden goose that eluded me. But they've done
a genie wish thing.
Crazy stuff with it. I don't know. I don't know if I'd have the freedom. If you're saying, hey, the genie says we can do whatever the frick we want, that the fans would want, I'd go after Star Wars.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's got to be better than what Disney. Nope. All right. Sean, what about
They'll
you?
come out with 3 adventure campaigns, each one roughly, that would cover maybe the storyline of a movie. And it's the new sequel trilogy that you can play through with your players.
The new sequel.
Right. The replacement. It follows up right after the end of the destruction of the second Death Star or Endor. That's the campaign I would write. Anyways, I think that I can't really give you my real answer. Kevin has forbidden it. But I will say that there are a couple.
Rated or something?
Yeah.
No, it's something we want to go after.
Oh, okay. You don't want to tip your hand. I get it. You know what? That's smart.
Right.
That's smart. Okay.
Yeah, like I said it, and people kind of freaked out when they heard it, and they're like, "How has that not been done yet?" So I personally though I really enjoyed the new Star Blazers, about the Battleship Yamato 2099 or whatever I think it is, that was rebooted about, I don't know, probably 10 years ago now, but it doesn't seem that old to me, but it's pretty awesome. I never watched the original like Star Blazers or whatever, so I came fresh to that, and I just thought it was fantastic. That would be fun to do if I just had one that I could do that would be fun. I also really like Invincible, the Amazon series. I didn't read the comics. I thought that was really cool. But the funny thing is with both of those is I think the things that I think are fun about those, I just want to do them with our own stuff.
Yep.
And Kevin already knows, like, I want to do that with. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, and we've discussed a lot of things. I'd love to do, the Star Blazers type thing with Mechanoids. I'd love to do the Invincible type thing with Heroes Unlimited. Because the original Heroes Unlimited had a less emphasized world. And so if we got a chance to do it again, I would emphasize maybe the world and some of the dynamics a little more there. Kevin and I have talked about this. That's how we would approach it. I don't know. A lot of stuff that I want to do is actually like not even related to anyone else's IP. It's our own IPs or a new IP that I've got. Kevin knows I have like an idea for like 3 different IPs already, 4 actually. So
okay. Those were great answers, but they were both wrong. The real answer is 50 Shades of Splugorth. Okay. Now we have Walter here, who has a very important question. Am I the only one curious as to what that big orange painting on Sean's wall is of? No, you are not. And even though you entered that sentence in a dangling prepositional nonsense, I too am very, very interested in what that art is.
It looks like No, it's like an autumn tree in an Airbnb I'm staying at. Like
autumn
like
tree.
impressionistic painting of an autumn tree.
Is
Like
there
blue.
some kind of structure in it as well, like a house or a barn or a temple or whatever?
No, it's literally like if you were like looking right up
Just
at
the
a tree
tree.
or something.
That's
Yeah,
lazy.
just the
That's
like.
lazy.
I mean, it's.
Airbnb
I-
art should be layered. I want my art like an onion. Smell
Hey,
bad and have a lot of.
you're
have a lot of-
criticizing the Thai people and their art, and I don't know if I'm
No, I'm
comfortable with
criticizing
that.
their art. Thai people are fine.
I'm sure some
Come
Thai person
on,
painted
put words
that.
in my mouth.
Then
All
he
right,
looks
that's
at
what I
the
got.
signature and it's some American.
People
Or it
thought
says
he was
Jason
hiding
Penny.
some upcoming cover.
Yeah, no, this is an Airbnb.
You had one more Heathen Dog start a little
I
further up.
did.
Yep.
Oh. No. Oh, I know. Okay, there it is. This was when I started because it was funny. I have this dream of seeing a high budget movie set in the Rifts universe. Well, you know what? We all had that dream about 20 years ago.
And we
20,
keep bringing
30
it
years
up in the
ago.
Rifters.
And then
Yeah.
it went away.
Yeah, we still have that dream.
Everyone woke up.
Yeah.
We all
Sadly.
have that dream. We still have that dream, but will it ever happen? You know, Hollywood
Probably
is
not.
a very fickle
Yeah.
place, and I had one of our champions for making a Riffs movie or TV series tell me about 6 months ago that the way Hollywood is set up and they're so risk averse that we may never ever see
No.
a big
You-
Riffs movie.
Yeah,
like
you
Kudos.
would have to kidnap Jerry Bruckheimer's family, maybe. I don't know. Get that done.
That's not a suggestion, by the way.
That is not a suggestion. No, the Legion of Myth does not endorse kidnapping of American citizens.
You know,
Americans.
they're making a Fallout series.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes, they are.
Fallout is a big IP. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid on that, but
Yeah.
they can make a Rifts one. I think a miniseries would be even better too.
I do
Okay.
too.
Well,
I think it would be better in a series
yeah,
format.
well, you know, if Legion of Myth did endorse kidnapping human citizens, which we, American citizens, which we don't, you'd have to find out who is the shot maker at Prime Video, and there you go.
I wouldn't want Prime Video. I mean, you'd have to demand
That's
that
your
you
shot.
own the license, though. Like you
That
own
is-
all like they can't do anything without clearing it through you first. Otherwise,
Yeah,
Coalition
Yeah,
are
like
gonna
Henry
be-
Cavill involved so that he can do. Have you heard about Henry Cavill with the 40K
yes,
thing?
yes.
He's
Yeah.
been, like up at night
love it.
editing scripts and telling the writers like, 3 strikes you're out.
Yeah, no. If you remember, that's why he left The Witcher.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So
They
yeah,
were
no,
moving too far
absolutely.
away
That's
from
what you
the source
need.
material, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
You need somebody like Law Dog and Walter MC from our Discord to go over there. One of them will say more poignant. The other one's autistic enough to make sure it gets done right. Like, all right.
And that's the thing is you really do need a champion like that who's got a lot of clout.
Yeah.
And that's how movies get made, sadly. Either it's just pure luck because Hollywood didn't see the potential in it and it was cheap and easy to make. And then it's like, who could have guessed this would be a big smash hit? Like
No,
the Dark
can Vin
Knight.
Diesel play a couple of games of Riffs and fall in love with it, and then
Yeah, come on, somebody, we'll take it.
I know. I agree. But
All right, let's actually get to what we're here for. We're only an hour in on the stream, and I think we have a topic to discuss.
Almost exactly an hour in.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's okay. People come to hear what you guys have to say. So I mean, I'm not going to be like, shut up. We got something. No. So and I think a lot of times these clarifications, people never listen the first, second, or third time. They need you to tell them the fifth time that sorry, you're not getting the PDF because before we move in. But what we're really here to talk about is so last time we had this live stream, we talked about Kevin's influence and with Palladium, what Palladium brought to the table. This time we're going to focus. So it's kind of like what Kevin achieved, so to speak. But now we're going to see what people gave Kevin, the awards they threw at him, said, take this, stand up and give a speech. Because it's more important than the Oscars apparently nowadays. And so we're just going to start right off the bat. I'm not even going to ask you what awards you won. I'm just going to be blunt about this. Well, which public recognition means the most to you and why? Right out the gate, I'm hitting you with that one.
That's a good one. I would have to say the Detroit Historical Museum exhibit, the Worlds of Palladium Books. Not just because it's the most recent, but because it's my frickin' hometown that's recognizing me. It's an institution, a world class museum that I went to a million times in my youth. Took my kids to. It's a place that I love, and it's in my hometown where I was born and raised. And dude, the Worlds of Palladium Books exhibit. I've had some other good ones, but I'm still kind of mind boggled by that. It feels a little surreal, and it's pretty awesome.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Do you feel that in some way? And I'm using, to be fair, I know I'm using loaded terms, but it's what people understand. So,
Sure.
do you feel that some way validated your work and what Palladium's done throughout the years?
I imagine so. I'm not one of those people who needs validation. So, but it's really nice to be recognized. And the fact that it's the Worlds of Palladiums, and there's a bunch of quotes from other people from the Detroit Gaming Center and others in there, it's really nice to see role-playing games recognized. It's really nice to see other people that I've known over the years recognized, even if it's just a mention, even if it's just a quote. Yeah, I think I'll tell you, it seems like for a lot of my friends and family and fans, it's validation, because I've had tons and tons of other people say, Kevin, this is what you deserve. You're finally getting recognized for everything that you've accomplished, and they seem, just as excited or more excited than me. And don't get me wrong, I'm like over the moon over this. This is, I never thought I'd be in a freaking museum or my company so yeah, even for a limited event that only runs for like 8 months, I guess, it's fantastic, and it's really nice.
No, it's funny how you say that, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody from Kevin or anybody else, but it's almost like when you talk to somebody who's in the military who went to war, or talking to a firefighter who saved somebody from a building, and you're like, oh my God, you did such an amazing thing. Dude, it's my job. What do you talk about? Sometimes
Yeah.
it becomes like, sure, maybe I had an impact here, maybe I had an impact there, but when you're inside, and I'll turn this into a question for you. Doesn't it just kind of seem like this has been my job? Well, I appreciate that, but this is just what I do. So, to some degree,
yeah, in a lot of, you nailed it pretty much. That's always been one of my mantras to my guys is, and Eric Woodchick and I used to talk about that, because as you become a celebrity in any kind of entertainment medium, even a small one like role playing, a lot of fans come up to you and they're like, "You're a god, we love you," and all this and this. And Eric and I were big fans of Roman history. And, one of the things that when the conquering hero came in back to Rome, the general, he would have someone standing next to him whispering in their ear, "You are not a god." And we're not gods. We love what we do. We've done great work. I'm proud of everything I've done. And so, yes, I'm proud that my body of work, and other people involved with me over the decades are being recognized in some way. It's beautiful and it's nice. But yeah, I would always tell my guys, look, you're not a god. When people say you're a god or treat you like you walk on water, it's wonderful. Enjoy it. But remember, it's only because you put your best foot forward and did a great job. And that's your job. It should be great. And you should always try to do your best. And that's been our philosophy. And so yeah, it's like it's wonderful, but and very cool. And how many people get that kind of honor? Holy moly. But yeah, we just thank you for recognizing that we did a great job.
Ethan Dog, I need you to follow up with this one because you have to train Kevin how to get a big head. Will you please give him an example?
An example of
What's that?
an example of
How
what?
how he's supposed to have a big head about this.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, then your answer, while nice,
Professional.
professional, it was wrong again.
Socially acceptable.
Yeah, socially acceptable, whatever. The real answer is I feel so good. I could do illicit substances with a woman of the night in a strange hotel room, and this is now my life. I am
back my
now above
question.
the law.
I don't know if
feel
you've met
like a
Kevin before,
celebrity.
but
Oh, he really is doing that.
Oh, well, never mind then. Carry on.
I didn't know we were supposed to keep that hush hush. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that.
this guy doesn't even drink.
No, like yeah, the whole big head thing. Okay, so yeah, saying like at the end of your career, like no, after a long career, not the end, but a long career, you are allowed
Yeah.
to stop and Ferris Bueller the situation. Just look around, enjoy it. Now you can take a minute, enjoy it, pat yourself on the back, accept everyone's praises, and then move on. You're allowed to do that. That's fine.
And get back to work.
Yes.
Because you guys want more. You always want more. Never enough.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. 100% true. That is second to the PDFs. If I get a complaint, it's about, can they get back to writing books now? You mean the ones that they've been writing for you and what? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think they can.
Sorry, we did those books that you kept begging for.
I know, right?
Yeah. Duh. Oh, darn. I mean, yes, Beyond the Supernatural Magic has been, delayed for over half my life, but whatever, Turtles is more important. Shut up.
To some people, yeah. I mean, like this guy. But now let's get a little more specific. We've got the Origins Hall of Fame. Now I have to ask this question because I'm kind of ignorant because I don't really care too much about like Oscars and Tonys or whatever else and who runs what. Is the Origins Hall of Fame the same as Gamma?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
I think we might have called it Origins mistakenly. It's
It's
honestly I don't
Gamma.
know. I'm not that involved with them, but I'm pretty sure it's the
Well, you're literally on the Origin. Like when I looked it up, you're on the Origins Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
That's why. So
it's the same. It's the Gamma.
okay. So that was 2015.
Whatever, game and
14.
design.
Well, according to my research and according to their website, it said 2015.
Well,
I'm just
according to Plaque, it says
No, that's
14 on
funny.
Yeah,
the plaque.
according to Clock, it's 2014.
well, then their own website is wrong.
Yeah, it's the same organization, by the way. It's formerly known as the Academy of Adventure Gaming
Yes,
Arts
yep.
and Design
Mhm.
Hall of Fame.
So that was going to be my next point. So at least according to the website, according to the plaques 2014, see they what they did is they scribbled out the plaque first and they gave it to you later. Like, here, have this crap. You're inducted into the Origins Hall of Fame for the Academy of Adventure Gaming and Arts Design. I've got the link here. People can go check that out. www.originawards.net. But so tell us about that. What was that for? What did it mean to you? I mean, because 2015 seems pretty late in the era when it comes to talking about art, because you've been doing art since what for books since the 70s.
Yeah. Who knows how these organizations figure stuff out? A lot of it's politics. Some are more political than others, and I've had issues with Gamma and have made my thoughts clear to people at the time, and I suspect that may have influenced some of it. And actually getting that award meant a surprising a lot to me, because at least I was surprised, because it said, wow, the new people have finally recognized what I've done and thought I've deserved, even though I've never won any other Origin or Gamma award, or any award or anything else award very often. it was really nice that the Game Manufacturing Association finally did sit back and go, well, shit, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And it's like, oh, someone finally put politics aside and put me in there. And it
Or
meant a
they're
lot.
like, oh God, he's been doing it so long, throw him a bone.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, that's interesting. I don't want to dive down a rabbit hole that puts people in necessarily a bad light, but it's interesting that you say politics got in the way, especially in kind of like the modern culture. When it comes to your what you've done within the hobby itself, what's going on?
Nothing.
He's got something to add when you're done.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm like, when I step into it, no, but the idea of that, if your company starts in the early '80s and you're still one of the few that is around, at some point you got to look at it and be like the guy, hate the guy. This has got to be a success story somewhere. So it's kind of weird to me, again, without trying to disparage folks, unless you want to. I don't care. I'm not asking you to do so. What kind of gaming influences cause that type of friction? Because look, as an outsider, I'm gonna just promise you're never gonna win at any. I know the people that win those stupid things. So I wouldn't even care about that nonsense. But what gets in the way of it's gaming, man? It's like we got our games. He's got like 4,000 books. I have to have shelves that are closed now just so they don't fall out on top of each other.
Yeah. I've written a couple hundred game books.
Not enough. That's what it is. That's not enough. Okay.
It's not enough. Not enough.
That's not counting contributions to the Rifter and other stuff, which would put me at more like 300. But
well,
no, so you got to understand, like when you go to conventions, you see a lot of interviews, and I don't like to badmouth people.
Right.
As you look at my history, I never throw people under the bus, even when I love to be driving that bus. And because it just sucks. So I'm not going to call anybody out. But, publicly, and when people talk about gaming, because it's so social and we all want to love our medium, everyone plays our industry is so wonderful. And we love everybody. And while there are people like me and Sean and Shane Hensley and Frank at Studio 2 and a bunch of other folks out there, Steve Jackson, who believe a rising tide raises all ships, not everyone thinks that way. And especially in the early days of gaming, there was like ridiculous, insane stupidity when it came to rivalry, because we're all viving to be, a top game company. And for me, I was very focused into doing my stuff, and probably a little bit too much. So in some ways, I always thought I was sort of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, who wasn't allowed to play with other reindeer in their reindeer games. Because
Rift is the island of misfit toys. Oh, it explains everything.
There you go. It really does. Because if you look at a lot of the people who work for me, we're all kind of misfits. We're all really dedicated to our art and craft and producing great games as opposed to politics. So I didn't go to a lot of politics. I didn't go to a lot of parties. I didn't get to know a lot of industry people, and I'm meeting a lot now through conventions like Page and other things. And I'm meeting a bunch of these folks who I've never met before and been around in the industry as long or nearly as long as I have. And they all seem, pretty nice. But some of the big movers and shakers at the time, I think there was sort of a crazy rivalry going on. And I just kind of put my nose to the grindstone and said, let my work talk for me. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't a schmoozer. I was also kind of shy. I've mentioned that before. Even to this day, I'm not great at networking and talking to folks, taking that first step to say, hey, Max, I'm Kevin from Palladium. And it always amazes me because I assume nobody knows who I am, and I'll walk into a booth and I'm like, hi, yeah, I'm, and they're like, you don't have to tell us who you are, sir. And I'm like, oh, and sometimes you do, because they're like, 28 and have no freaking idea. but and it's really nice and it's cool. But back in the day, like I said, there are a lot of rivalry, and I think part of it too, and I've talked about it from time to time. Artists, it's a different story now. Comic book artists and animators and anime artists. I think people's appreciation, whether it's through the internet and people being able to, I don't know, just things have changed. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, artists were not particularly appreciated. And I think a lot of companies used and abused artists because, it was just easy because the artists are desperate to break in and see their art out there in the world. And so a lot of companies, and I was aware of this, would hire people on the cheap and pay them slave wages. Hell, my work at Judges Guild was slave wages. It was back in the day where they kept 20% or 25% of my artwork, and they got to pick what they were keeping, and that kind of stuff was I thought was garbage, and I would make noises about that. And I think the fact that I rose up in their eyes first as a artist meant that, what do I know? I'm just a dumb fuck artist.
Yeah, artist equals peasant,
and pretty much. And I actually had some industry, and I mean some top industry people, make comments to me that was basically, why do you think you know better than we do? And I'm like, I don't think I know better than you. I'm following the beat of my own drummer, man. I'm doing stuff different. And you go ahead and do whatever you and the whole rest of the industry, according to you, is doing. That's great. But I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to actually pay artists really good money. I'm going to give them credit on my books that aren't in 5-point type in a big block on the credits page. I'm going to give them, 10, 12-point type. I'm going to list exactly what they are. I'm going to let them put
same type as you get. Yep.
Yeah, freaking name on, because, I kind of live by the philosophy of treat others like you'd like to be treated. And, and I went through my shit as an artist. They talk about paying your dues. I got used and abused as an artist, not for very long because I don't take that shit. But, and I think that caused problems, especially when I rose up in the ranks, because Palladium was like number 3 for like 18 years in the industry. Everyone around us would change. I mean, TSR forever was number 1. Mm-hmm. Well, that would change eventually. And then you had, number 2, number 4, and the rest of them, they kept swapping places. And we were like this rock. You'd look at the stat blocks and be like, Palladium, number 3. And I think that, honestly, it pissed off a lot of people. And then sort of the same stuff you guys are seeing from haters and folks who just don't seem to get our game system, I assume, because they've never actually tried to play it. There's a lot of people who seem to think that, my game system sucks and it's just terrible. And, why would we can't possibly be selling what we're selling because, our stuff stinks. I heard that for the first 14, 15 years of Palladium's existence, from competitors and other people in industry. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you,
Yeah.
No, number 3, but it sucks, right? You got the bronze medal, which is still 3. A medal, and yet it sucks.
Yeah. Bronze
medal for 20 years.
Bronze Olympic medal. Like, I'm the 3rd best in the Olympics. Also means I'm the 3rd best in the world. Dummy. There's only 2 other companies that are proven to be better than mine. Yeah, you can shut your hole. Well, what do you say to people who still say, "Oh, Palladium system sucks"? So it's like, well, it's been going around for 45 years. How old are you, man?
Well, and tell you. My feeling is, because come on, you don't just hear that about us. You'll hear people, shit on D&D and Pathfinder and other stuff. You're always going to have your favorite game and games that you don't like. And that's why I don't take it personally. I sit back and go, look, I've said this on this show in the past. role playing is a very personal thing. And that's why I don't have problems if people say, man, I love your worlds and I love your lore, but I'd rather use someone else's game system. And I'm like, that's cool, because you're still playing in my world. That's awesome. Or I tweaked this rule. I don't use that rule. I don't care, because role playing is personal. Whatever works for you and your friends in your game campaigns. So I don't really care if people don't like my game system. I don't agree that it's no good. I mean, it's been around for 45 years, guys. I mean, somebody's buying and playing them, and somebody loves this stuff. And it's a lot of somebody's, but that's your opinion, and you know what they say about opinions.
Yeah. I have some.
Like if when you talk about something that's brand new and might fail, you can say, okay, well, it's probably going to fail because it sucks and it's clunky and stuff like that. But after a while, you have to admit that maybe it's just me. Maybe I just don't like it. Like for example, West End game Star Wars. I don't like the whole pip dice system. I don't.
Oh wow.
I don't like it. But I get that a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. So it can't be bad.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. Okay.
When people shit on D&D, and some will go, wait, D&D's never been any good. And I say, well, first of all, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but it created our whole industry. Yeah, we would not be here, none of us, if it wasn't for Gary.
Exactly. So you can say what you want, except that it's bad. You really can't. The whole, overall, it's not bad, or else it wouldn't still be here.
I'm going to do a shameless plug here, since Kevin brought it up, not me.
Oh, Kevin brought it up.
This Friday, we're actually got 6 p.m. Central Time. We're actually going to have 3 panelists on to talk about the misconceptions or the reality of Palladium Books. We're going to look at a bunch of those complaints, questions, concerns, whatever the people have about Palladium Books, and we're going to address them and find out what is real and what is fiction. And I'm looking forward to that. So that'll absolutely be fun for that. But yeah, it is weird when to be fair, I am one of those people that, yes, and you can argue, well, you do realize it was #1 for a long while. I despise 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder. I do. I despise them. I think they're some of the worst games ever written in terms of having a good table session. I'm highly in the minority. I think they make great computer games. They make some of the best computer games out there. Knights of the Old Republic, the new Baldur's Gate, whatever. But they are horrible tabletop RPG games. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but I've been told by some Canadians I do. For me, they're the worst for me. That should be implied. It's already an opinion.
Yeah,
I won't even sit at a table with my best friend playing that game. So people, it doesn't matter to me. As long as I like the players, I can play any game. I won't do it. Heathen Dog will be like, I'm running Pathfinder. I'll be like, tell me how it goes. That's just because I really do. I despise those games. Now, so my point in saying that is, everybody's got opinions, as he was saying. It's just hard for me to understand that as number 3 consistently through all this time, people are still ignoring or poo-pooing or whatever it was that people were doing at that time. But is there anything else in terms of this Origin or Gamma Award that stands out for you before we kind of go into another one? Or
no, I think I appreciate that they recognized me, and it means a lot. It's nice to be recognized, and it's Hall of Fame, for Pete's sake. They only induct a couple people into the Hall of Fame every year, so it's very nice. I appreciate it, and hell, this hangs in my office right above the light switch. So yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and I'll throw in one little thing is that they inducted both Kevin and Eric Wujcik, and I think that says a lot about what they brought to the table for the whole industry. Mm-hmm. Especially since, for whatever reason, they were never awarded individual awards for individual works, which is that's an interesting thing, right? So I think at some point it's acknowledging. It has to be acknowledging a larger contribution than any one-hit wonder type thing, right? Did you have a record-breaking single, or did you just produce a bunch of great albums? I don't know, and I would say that Riffs is a little bit of both, right? But so was TMNT, so was Robotech and Macross too. But yeah, I just think that that's significant in that greater context, that both Kevin
Sure.
and Eric, and that really speaks to Palladium's
Mhm.
spot in that formative manner.
Awesome. Well, moving to the next one, you were also honored by Dragon Con. What was that about?
To be honest, I don't really remember exactly.
Dragon Con is now rescinding their honors for you.
I told you Kevin didn't drink, but apparently one weekend he did.
But I got this cool.
Hey,
Eric
look at
and I were
Oh,
guests
that's nice.
together, and I don't remember if this was just for like special guests, as some kind of recognition, but it's really neat. It is. This is cool. It looks like wood. It's probably resin. Eric and I both got one, and I don't know if it was just, hey, we're just recognizing you as someone important in industry, or what, but it was neat. I know there's a bigger award because Harlan Ellison was there that year, and he got that one. I forget what they call it. It's named after a woman, and I don't remember what that award is. And I was a dope. They loved me, and Eric Wojcik and I had standing invitations to come to Dragon Con anytime we wanted to, and I just didn't. And I loved that convention. I only went like 3 times, and I love it. And I should have gone more often, because now it's 20 years later, and are any of those people there? If I called up and said, "Hey, I want to come to the show,"
who are you?
like, yeah, well, here's the admissions page. Buy an admissions ticket, and get yourself a hotel and leave us alone, man. But that was pretty cool. I did not expect that. That was one of those neat things. It seemed like most of the awards I ever got, I never really expected. It just kind of come on.
I mean, you've never done any work in this hobby or this industry that's poignant at all. No, nobody's ever remembered anything you did. I know it's hard to think that somebody'd want to give you something.
Exactly.
Well, then with that, unless Sean wants to jump in there, we got the next one that I can go into, which is the one you talked about earlier, the Detroit Historical Museum. So what did that recognition represent to you as a creator and as like a local business owner and local personality and somebody who grew up in the area?
Well, like I said, I kind of touched on that. It's a favorite place. It's my hometown. I was one of those people who's always been rooting for Detroit, and I tried to stay there as long as I could, both as a business and as a resident. And I love that city. I love that museum. And a year earlier, they had done a cool comic book exhibit, and I was mentioned in it, and in A+ Comics, which was Detroit's first independent comic book, was featured in it rather prominently, and I took pride in that. I was like, oh, that's really neat. I can't believe I'm mentioned like 3 times. And they show 2 or 3 of A+ covers. That was pretty neat. And I was proud of that. And then when they went on to do the exhibit, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, it just means the world to me. It means the world to me to be in a place that I love, a place that inspired me, to help create me. I mean, we have a little cluster of places, and like within a 2-block radius, and they're like right next to each other. And that's the Detroit Historical Museum. Across the street is the Detroit Institute of Arts. And directly across the street from the Historical Museum is the main library, Detroit Main Library. Mm-hmm. And these are all places that I would go to that were like my little, places of inspiration and home away from home, where I could lose myself in ideas and things. And And then like down the block is Center for Creative Studies, which is the art school I went to. And it just, it turned out to just be this place that was just this hotbed of ideas and inspiration for me. And, plus I have a lot of great memories of, my mom and dad taking me to these places as a kid, and then me continuing to go there as a teenager and young adult, and then me taking my children there. So it was, just pretty great. So yeah, means the world to me. It's very cool.
So what do you hope that visitors who go check that out, and if you're in the Ohio, oh my God, the Michigan, Ohio, Canada, because you're pretty close to Canada there as well, area, you should check it out. What do you hope that visitors will understand about you and about Palladium Books, and maybe about tabletop history as a whole from that exhibit?
Well, you mentioned validation. I look at it as sort of a validation of the hobby. Look, role playing. Come on. At the beginning of the industry, role playing games were chided as being demonic, satanic. They mentioned the satanic panic in the exhibit, and it's why we have warnings on our front pages. And we've gone from and one of my favorite, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the show, probably because it's still like burned in my memory, was Geraldo Rivera's 2-part expose on Entertainment Tonight: Games That Kill.
Oh,
choice. And we were among the games that kill, and so as an industry, as a hobby, we've gone from games that kill to what a wonderful pastime that encourages people being social and problem solving and working together as a team and finding escape from everyday problems, because the worlds are so beautiful and immersive. Yeah.
It's so funny that you were brought up in that. I'll have to go see if that's on YouTube somewhere. And the reason I say that is because as I went to Lutheran school, so I was not allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons. Satanic Panic was absolutely real. But I was allowed to play TMNT and Robotech.
Mm-hmm.
So Palladium, the reason that I think I became a Palladium fan so long ago was because it's playing more BattleTech than anything else at the time. But as far as role playing goes,
it was the only game in his town.
Yeah, it was the only game I was really allowed to play without somebody going, "Wow, no, read more Bible verses," Oh, true story. If you in my Lutheran school, if you started talking about Doctor Who or Dungeons and Dragons, things like that, you got an extra Bible verse to memorize. So I learned to keep my mouth shut.
Oh no, we're kind of laughing about it, but it was very real, and people were very serious about that.
Mm-hmm. It was the gossip grandmas. I'm telling you, it was all the gossip grandmas. It was their fault. I saw them.
Over the years, I've had lots of people who thanked me. Lots and lots and lots of people who thanked me for the same reason you just brought up, that, gee, thank you for putting those warnings in there, because my mom and dad or grandparents or whoever were raising a kid, they wouldn't let me read this, they wouldn't let me play that. But thanks to your warnings, I was able to play your role-playing games and got to discover as I got older, and people realized role-playing games weren't evil. Got to play all this other stuff, but it was because of you and your games that I got to enjoy role playing when it really, had a huge influence on me as a youngster. And that means a lot to me. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I just love it. I love what I've done. I love that people are appreciative of it and are recognizing the things that I've done. It's neat.
As a side note, if you hear, when's the exhibit over? September?
September 13th is the last day.
Okay. If sometime around, I don't know, September 12th, you find out that Robotech poster went missing, I'm telling you, I had nothing to do with that. That was not me.
Nope.
I don't believe that anybody should steal anything from museums or glue your hand to the wall or anything like that. But if it should go missing, I will help in the search of whoever took that.
God, you're acting like it's a whole John Bonet mystery. It's not. You did it.
And if you guys come to see the exhibit, and that's one reason I'm doing the weekend conversation with Kevin Siembieda, is if you're coming from out of town, and if you can't make that weekend, and but you're in town, give the Palladium office a call, and maybe you can swing by and say hello, and I'm happy to sign your books and show you the place. And we're not always available. We actually have lives, a little bit of a life, and we go to conventions and things. But if you're in town, reach out, and maybe we can get together for half an hour or something and hang out and talk a little bit. So
For this next one here, I'm using the word award still, but I'm talking any sort of honor, accolade, kudo, attaboy, whatever. But are there any like smaller, more personal awards you receive? Maybe it could be as simple as a thank you from somebody really important to you, or as we've discussed before, you got Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah.
You talk. I'm assuming you actually talked with Jerry Bruckheimer at some point over the whole Rifts thing.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, are there any countless, hopefully, of those more personal kind of attaboys that you've received?
Yeah, there really are. So Anime North is one of the biggest anime conventions in North America, and it's held in Toronto. And they brought me in as a guest, and I was surprised. I didn't realize I was actually getting any kind of award. You can't really see it very well because it's a see-through thing, but it was pretty neat. In gratitude for my valuable role in promoting Japanese animation and manga through gaming to an international audience. And that was 2013. So maybe there was something in the zeitgeist where people started to go, hey.
Who's this Kevin guy? Let's get him involved in something.
And that was neat because I got that because of, Robotech and Macross and its origins in Japanese animation, and as well as Turtles. And the fact that most people forget that we did Robotech, we put it on VHS tapes, which is what the visual medium of the day was before everything went digital, and and those were huge because anime was in its infancy, and when we released those tapes, they were just huge and made a profound impact on a lot of people. And then a couple of much smaller things were that meant a lot to me is the McNaughton and Gunn, my favorite printer of all time. They submitted the original Rifts RPG to some kind of printing club, and we won the award of excellence for superb craftsmanship in the production of Rifts. And yeah, that was pretty neat. That was like 1990. I even kept the letter, or 92. They kept the letter
back, yeah,
that they sent with it, and then so that was neat. And then my beautiful friend Eric Woodjick, at one of the early AmberCons, gave me this Game Master Laureate plaque, which meant a lot to me. And again, I had no idea. He was like, I should have known something was up because he was pretty insistent that I come to the convention. And I'm like, all right, I'll be there. And they had, like, after dinner, they had this little award ceremony, and I got that because Eric loved my games that I ran and thought I was one of the best game masters he had ever seen, and let alone gamed with.
Isn't that awesome, considering that you two were like almost diametrically opposite when it came to style? It is.
Yeah, it really is. And but I mean, we appreciated each other's approach. Like I said, and again, that's a great example of role playing is so personal. A lot of people would tell you that Eric Woodjick is one of the greatest game masters around. I'd be one of them. And it's we approached it very different because role playing is just so personal. And then something else that meant truly the world to me, and I should have brought the poster when we were going through the Crisis of Treachery. I had done a special print that drew a bunch of our characters, and there was like an open grave with a troglodyte climbing out of it, and it said Palladium, RIP, and the RIP was chiseled out, and we were in rough shape. The crisis of treachery was one of my closest friends and employees had embezzled and stole. I was going through some personal stuff, and next thing we know, the company is on the verge of going bankrupt, and I had to go public. And we called it the crisis of treachery. And I'd done that poster as something that people could buy for $50 to help support us. And people bought tons and tons of them. And then one of the other things we did is, like 1,400 of them, which was amazing. And then people came out of the woodwork saying how much they loved us. It was like, it's interesting how sometimes disaster can turn into something beautiful. And we struggled for years after all of this because it was that devastating. But people just came out of the woodwork to tell us how much they loved our games and how much we've meant to them. And they just sent all kinds of wonderful testimonials and money. People were begging to donate money to us, which we weren't doing. We were like, buy product that you've been meaning to get. So we hosted our very first Palladium open house. And I did that for two reasons. One was to maybe raise some additional money to help us out. But the main thing was to say thank you to all these people who are coming forward, because I didn't know if Palladium was going to survive. And again, they came out in droves. There were like 400 or 500 people came from all over the world. I mean, mostly United States, but also Canada and Germany and England and frickin' Brazil and Australia. We had a maniac who came a couple Palladium open houses in a row from Australia, and that was amazing. But one of the things that was really touching, and I was so busy that I didn't even notice, is they took that poster, and one of the fans went around and had, I lose count after about 150, like 150 people signed the poster all over the place.
Oh, nice.
People in attendance. And then, he had already bought like a cheap frame and a mat. And when they ran out of space on the poster, they started to sign the mat. And it was very moving, and just meant the world to me, and to Kathy. She was so touched and moved by it that she specifically requested that it hung in her office at her home, because she worked from home most of the time, and hangs there still. And that was beautiful. And it just hell, that's 20 years ago. And it still means a lot. It still moves me to think about what they did, and how much I meant to them and how much they mean to me. So that was one of the ultimate personal. Nobody knows about that, but it's my probably my most precious award. So that was cool. And then a couple of years later, at the 2009 Palladium Open House, Mike Leonard, also known as Madman Mike, went and got this silly plaque made that he gave me at the open house. Our fearless leader, and it's me and Wayne, his big time hockey guy, Red Wing fan, behind me with a hockey stick, and I'm protecting Wayne from zombies. And that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think those are the big ones. I'm probably missing a couple.
No. So one of the things, and I do want to backtrack and get to like the Blizzard thing, because to me that sounds interesting. But you actually jogged my memory on some stuff. So I know for sure back like during the Gulf War, and we'll say the the 2003 version of the Gulf War. When I'm literally in Kuwait, by the way, I was there when we captured Saddam. Hold on here. Look, dude, if you're gonna come fuck with the channel, I have zero issues calling your dumb ass out and fucking right back with you. I don't play that shit here. So die in a fire. And oh my god, we're gonna do that. And look, you're allowed to make comments. You're allowed to be honest, but we don't attack panelists and we don't attack chatters. And if that's the way it's going to be, you can get effed.
Wow.
Sorry, Kevin and Sean, but that was a pretty nasty comment that he made earlier. So I don't look. You guys know me. I'm pretty much a free speech absolutist, but I also believe in decorum. So.
I didn't see it, so
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good that you didn't. Yes, I absolutely. Oh, dude.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Boom. There it is.
So okay. All right. So where were we here? No, just so I was so one of the things that I know because you've actually wrote blurbs on this in like the Rifter is the support that you got from troops overseas and how that made you felt. Now, as somebody who was in the Air Force, somebody who's a contract overseas, you know, and Sean, you know, you were in the Air Force as well. So, I mean, most of us here, you know, have some sort of tie to the military, what that meant to you. And again, I'm not doing anything weird here other than you've actually mentioned this in the past. To me, those are, again, also the type of small honors that people like you get. Talk about what they've said that, you know, Palladium offered them while they're stuck there, you know, in the hot desert and dealing with IEDs.
yeah. Well, you know, my philosophy has always been I don't care what your politics are. I don't care if you support the war or not. These are young men and women who are putting their lives at risk for what they believe in and for protecting our country and what they feel is at stake. And I deeply respect that because they're literally putting their lives and their mental health on the line for us. And I appreciate their commitment and their sense of duty and honor. And so I always, like during Christmas surprise packages, I always try to load up vets and especially people who are deployed in an active service. And apparently that means a lot to them, because I've gotten a lot of feedback from many vets who have said our playing our games kept them sane, because some of the hardest part of, especially if you're on the line, the hardest part is waiting for the next infraction that you have to respond to, is waiting to go out and fight. And it just drives them crazy. And to be able to escape into a role-playing game and to forget this and to actually have some fun and to actually laugh, and you're doing it with your fellow soldiers and friends who could die at any time. Your next mission, you could die. That it just really helped them escape and to lose themselves into this and give them a few hours of peace. And again, that's huge. When I designed these games, I never designed them with that in mind. And I'm glad that my games have helped them in that capacity. And others talked about how they came back, you know, emotionally and mentally wrecked or physically wrecked. And you know, they're feeling hopeless and they're feeling lost, and they still had those games that could connect them back to the world. It could connect them with their friends, and again, help them lose themselves into these worlds where, you know, they're whole people and they can function, and they're again doing it with friends and people they care about. fabulous, and it's a great honor. And I'm glad I was able to help in such an unexpected way. Yeah, well, my pleasure, man.
And that's one of the things that I wanted this section. We can talk about the Gamma Award all day and all night, the Dragon Con. I like none of that bothers me at all. Kevin deserves those honors, but it's these little things that I think a lot of people don't see that become the most meaningful.
They really do. I mean, because people. I mean, my mom was very sickly and was fighting cancer for the last half of her too short life, and I mean, like 25, 30 years, she fought cancer. And so I learned very early on that people matter most. And that's always been part of my makeup, is that people are important, and they matter, and they should come first. And so I always try to do that. And I always try to think of others. I always try to be there for people in whatever little way we can. We produce these dumb games, and they touch people's lives in ways you never, ever imagine. And as the creator of those games, you kind of represent that joy. I mean, that's why people sometimes think, you're special, or you're a god, because they get so much joy from this and Rifts and Palladium Fantasy and all of our games, and you become the embodiment of that. You reflect all that, and so they look at you and they're like, wow. And that's why, I'll make little notes when we do the Christmas surprise packages, or I send an extra couple of books to a vet, or someone mentions this is, I'm buying this for my birthday, or for my buddy's birthday, or for my spouse's birthday. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let's have the staff all sign one of our cards, birthday cards or Christmas cards, and boom, send it to them too. And that little extra thing, it matters. And that lesson was driven home to me when I was at a Gen Con, and forgive me if I mentioned this story before, but it's one of those profound things that also touches my heart. And there was a young man, maybe 13, 14, in a wheelchair. And it was back when Palladium was super popular and Rifts was hot as hell. And I'm swamped with people, and I can see he's waiting in line to talk to me. And by the time I talk to all these other people who were there first, I turn and he's gone. And I'm like, oh, shucks. So he came back the next day, and I made a point of talking to this kid. And for me, he was just one of 1,000 freaking people I talked to and signed their book. And it was nice. And, he was kind of starstruck at first, but the more we talked, I talked with him for like 20 minutes or half an hour, because I felt bad that I missed him the day before. And, I signed a book or two of his, and he left smiling. And honestly, I forgot about this kid 20 minutes after he left the booth. I'm signing other books and talking to people and stuff. A year later, the next Gen Con, this woman walks up to me and she says, I don't know if you remember me. And I said, yeah, you're with the boy in the wheelchair. And she says, yes, I'm his mother. And she came in to thank me for the time I spent with her son, because he was so happy and so excited. It's all he talked about till the day he died.
Oh, geez.
And, I mean, that's just a great example of you need to be aware of that you touch people in ways that you don't even imagine. And sometimes in profound ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad I brought that kid some joy, and his mother some joy. And she was so appreciative. She paid admission to get into a fucking show she didn't know anything about or cared about, just to come in to tell me thank you. So those are the big moments.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that stick with you. just before Eric Wujik died, he just wanted to, say goodbye because he knew the end was very near at this point. And he was like, "Yeah, Kev, I know you know this already, but I just want to remind you that hold on to the things that bring you joy and the people who bring you joy, because in the end, that's all that matters." And for what it's worth, it's super true.
Mhm.
So, and I'm
And
glad I've been part of so many lives. And I've touched them in mostly positive ways. Apparently, some people not so much, but
and you know as well as all of us here and the people in chat know, and I'm going to read a super chat here in just a moment, but that it's not just that person. There are how many tens, dozens, hundreds, thousands maybe that you haven't had the chance to talk to that were still affected the same way, or who didn't have a mother who could come back and say, "Hey, thank you for that." So it's more than just that one.
Yeah, if you don't mind me saying something, when I grew up in Houston and in a poor family, and I never really made it out to the Palladium open houses until, it wasn't a thing when I was like a super active, in things, it's only started shortly before I joined the military and things like that. But the first open house I went to, Kevin had already asked me to be his business partner. I'd already joined him at Palladium, and so it was really interesting to meet a lot of people for the first time in person. Um, and so I didn't know some of them. I didn't know, like maybe they have this huge connection to Palladium. I don't know them, and so it was a very interesting experience. But one of the things that kind of blew me away, and my parents, because my parents came, is that I had person after person after person come up to me to tell me. They pulled me aside, wasn't in front of other people or anything, about how Kevin had changed their life or had saved their life. And in some cases through his games, in other cases, it's a longer story, but a guy came out early. Kevin knows who it is. I don't know if he would want to be named publicly. And he was just for like a week, like going around fixing stuff all around the warehouse and helping us with all these tasks. And I just kept thanking him profusely. And he didn't want money for parts. He didn't, and all this stuff. And I was like, I kept thanking him. And he said, "Sean, stop thanking me. I really appreciate it. But you don't know how Kevin saved Christmas for me and my family years ago. Our house burned down. Long story short, Kevin, he had written Palladium, Kevin found out that he had lost his collection in a fire. But while they were waiting for all their insurance money, Kevin had sent him a copy of every single book in the Palladium library and a whole bunch of money to get them through Christmas."
Wow.
So, that fan said, "I will always be here for Kevin as long as I live." And he said, "And that extends to you because he chose you for a reason and you seem like a decent guy." That's amazing. It's amazing to have people, and my parents, same thing. They're like talking to fans, hanging out at the open house, and person after person telling them, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know how awesome Kevin is and what kind of person he is." So that's just something I just want to throw out there. And every Gen Con, it can be sort of a repeat where people are coming up and telling you all their great experiences, but also, "Hey, Kevin kept me and my buddies from getting really into like drugs and gangs."
Well, sorry, Kevin, it didn't stop my friends, but
yeah. It was either Palladium role-playing games or cartel drug running, and man, it was on the fence for a minute. But
it was on the fence, and then you came out with the new Robotech book, and we were okay.
And that was it. That was it.
Unfortunately, with my friends, the answer was just yes.
So, but I just want to throw that out there. It's one of those things that has been kind of a shocker. I mean, I've met a lot of great people, and I've worked in the industry with some really, really fantastic people. But so I know that stuff like that doesn't just happen every day. So it is really interesting.
My story isn't nearly as cool, but I think I told you guys this. I'm pretty sure I told Kevin this for sure. But when my stepdad died last year, I went home, and for whatever reason, I think my mom and I we were talking about my YouTube channel and whatever. So mind you, for those folks, I'm 52, so I was 51 then. So that makes my mom 70 whatever, 70s, okay? And we were talking about this, and long story short, I got to the topic of talking with, I've talked with certain creators. I said, but it's awesome. I got Kevin. I said, you remember that Turtles game I used to play and the Robotech and so forth? She's like, oh yeah, you're always laying down on the front room floor, just making those little sheets that you were doing. Yeah. So I ended up talking about, I actually talk to him about once a month now. And I'm telling you, she had a little tear coming down her eye. So to me, that was really cool. I didn't know how to react to that. Cause I'm like, this is my mom. She's like, am I supposed to be cheering? No, but the fact that she remembered that and kind of put that together, there's that's really awesome. I mean, there's just really weird ways in that how this hobby and the people in this hobby can touch folks. Even if I've never shaken Heathen Dog, at least got a hug. I've never even shaken his hand or anything. I got to fix that one day. But even from a distance, like how. So what would you say? 3 parts of separation for my mom, from me to you to me to my mom.
Yeah.
And then that made her feel ways about that. But I do want to read the super chat before it goes too far away here. For a wowzer amount of money.
This is bananas.
For $199.99. Does that mean he did it on iPad? Because if you did that on iPad, YouTube's going to take 30%. Apple's going to take another 30%. But I appreciate it no matter what. It means I got to drink again too. Cheapers, creepers, y'all gonna. But Law Dog says, thanks, Kevin, for always supporting veterans. We love you right back. I'm not drinking 2 shots for that one. Leave me alone. Or 4 for that one. I'm not doing the math. It's $50 or more as a shot. Leave me alone. But yeah, I think even outside the money, obviously that that just shows the appreciation that from. And to be fair, it's not even not just on the military side. I'm so glad you told that story from the kid and the mother, because it's not just from military folks. This touches people all over. And I know enough people like Kevin. I wish I was one of them, but I'm not that good of a person apparently in life. But that those things absolutely mean that much more. Thank you for the plaque. That's awesome. I'm glad you recognized me. But this over here is what really mattered.
Yep.
And with that,
and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of stories like that. I can't share them all. They kind of get a little repetitive, but I'm glad I've been such a positive force out there, and I try to inspire other creators, to follow their dreams, and so I'm also thrilled whenever I meet somebody who says, I'm a writer or an artist or a filmmaker because of you. That's, I think a lot has to do with themselves, but it's nice that they give me credit, and I'm happy that I influence them to follow their own dreams and be creative.
I'm gonna let's catch up on some other chat. We'll and then we'll dive into the the Blizzard recognition and maybe what you've done, the Hollywood speak, as Sean was calling it earlier, and how so much about that, because obviously you must have talking to oh my god, I can't even talk about, I'm not drinking anymore, folks. I can't even talk. Talk to enough folks out there, and I know Heathen Dog starred 1 or 2 of these, but let me scroll back here to make sure that I actually did that one. I think we start here. So topic is Kevin and Sean show. Max and Heathen Dog just trying to keep the train on track. I do not want
No, we're not even trying to keep the train on track anymore. Yeah. Everyone loves to see a wreck every once in a while. We're gonna do that.
So no, this is our time to talk with them, and we're gonna try. We have a focus for today, but if it goes somewhere, and it really hasn't, it just kind of started off before we got into it. Where it goes, because they got things they want to say that are related to this, and we're going to let it happen. And I'm good. The more train wrecky, the more eyeballs that are on it.
I mean, we can do a yes/no episode if you want Kevin and I just to have a panel. We can rate things yes, no, and maybe like 0 to 10 on scale.
No, yes,
and
no,
then,
shrug. Not even a word. Just yes, no, and
The next episode is going to be a 3-hour game of Never Have I Ever.
and Kevin never answers one time. He's like,
I know. He's like, oh, you're lying bastard. All right, keep going.
Opinions mean nothing against boom guns.
Yep. I don't know what that was for, but yeah, I have an opinion. Like, I have a boom gun. Oh, okay. I don't have an opinion anymore. That's
This
how
is
that
back
works.
when we talk about things like Pathfinder and so forth. You know, people not liking Palladium. You know.
Yeah.
But thank you for the $10, CPK. Appreciate that. We read Law Dogs. France back as a new member. It's not really new. Did it not give you credit? It was always. I don't know.
Still.
It's been around forever.
Yeah. Never still.
And then Franz with a $10 super chat. What? Kevin isn't a god? I've been wasting all my Sundays.
Yeah. All these Sundays, once a month, he's been here tithing, and he's not getting into heaven for it. Oh man, he got boned.
Sorry, buddy.
He want his money back. I was supposed to buy my way into the pearly gates, and what? It's all a lie.
We're all waiting for the second coming.
My
Twitter
ancient
indulgences
isn't the real God
aren't real.
anymore?
We're going to have the second coming of Kevin. Oh, when he floats down from the sky and gives us our one universal Palladium book to rule them all.
Sacrilegious.
And then I also started this one because I thought this was awesome. As somebody who lived in Germany for 11 years and actually went to Gen Con from Germany, don't do that. This is Morgan. Yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. I'm not Swedish. But I'm looking forward for the coming open house. I will come from Sweden. Already saved up the cash. Look at that. Wow. He better get a front row seat.
Yeah, he said.
If you remember, Kevin, Morgan is the fan. He started as a Savage Rifts fan, and I got to know him online, and then he was really got into. He's like, oh wait, I like this. I remember it was Juicers or something he really liked, and he realized there were all these Palladium books. The Savage Rifts books were just a window into this whole whole
there
setting.
You go. That's the right direction to go, sir.
Yeah, that's the right direction. You shouldn't go Palladium to Savage World. You should go Savage World to Palladium. That's your path to the Holy Land, right there.
It is, and it was really great when I think it was when we did the Titan Robotics Kickstarter. Morgan, he's far overseas. He took advantage of the very advantageous shipping rates because with Titan Robotics, we offered the entire basically Rifts catalog. So, and I think more, I can't remember, but no, Morgan took advantage of that. And so we had this massive package that we had to ship. So it's a good memory. Thanks, Morgan. And we appreciate your support.
I keep forgetting that these cover your faces here. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, we appreciate everyone's support. Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody if you have any friends, anybody online that doesn't live in the continental United States, I know shipping can be tough outside the U.S. Just throw it out there and let them know we really do work our very hardest. You'd be probably shocked at how hard we work on this to get the best shipping we can and leverage that. And when we do that with, and we'll do that with more future stuff. We didn't want to cross the streams with the Turtles property for royalty purposes and stuff, but one that just to be super clear cut. But yeah, when we do future crowdfunders, please let anybody know, or if you're someone who lives overseas, we've leveraged the shipping rates the best we can to get you awesome shipping. If we offer other books, that's a great time to jump in and get those other products. Or if you're like, hey, I'm interested in the Turtles books, get them during the crowdfunder. It's going to be way better on the shipping than if you get them afterwards. And usually the price is a little lower than the retail cover price as well. Anyways.
I want to put this one up as well. One, because I'd like to remind the Rumble folks that I am paying attention sometimes. There he goes. Says, Kevin's a good dude. You could have just stopped there. But he goes on and says, I met my wife playing the OG Robotech tabletop role-playing game. Please tell me she was not acting as Min-Mei. Nobody likes Min-Mei.
No.
I said, hold on, let me scroll back up here. Pop it up. There we go. I sent Kevin a letter on our 10th anniversary in 2011. He responded with a nice note and a pic signed by his team. You know, Kevin hates people so much. I just don't understand.
I know. That's weird.
Happy to do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up a little bit here because we are train wreck. I do have to drink one more. By the way, the alcohol is gone. Doesn't matter what you give me for money anymore. The alcohol is gone. I'm out. I'm gonna have to have my wife go get me more crappy whiskey. With that said, let's actually talk about this again. Not specifically honors, but it's just recognition. Obviously, recognition. One way or the other. And you know, one of the ones that you've brought up in the past, and even just for this, is Blizzard. Well, what did Blizzard Entertainment do for you?
Yeah, so Blizzard is, especially, this is like 2010, and so Blizzard is not only this gigantic company, but they're like mega. They're
At
at
the
like,
top of their game, then, yeah.
yeah, exactly, at the top of their game. They're at the pinnacle of where they're going, and I get a call from someone I had worked with at I can't think of the name of the company. The guys who did
Nokia?
our trading card
Oh,
Precedence Games, and Mike calls me, and he was working at Blizzard, and he discovered that there were a lot of people at Blizzard who played my games and were familiar with my games, and says, yeah, we would really like to fly you in and put you up so you could speak on our campus. And I'm like, you have a campus? And it was pretty cool. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure. Absolutely. And so they fly me in. I get a tour of the whole campus, which was amazing. I got to meet one of the main movers and shakers there, who and I met him before we do anything else. And I walk into his room, and I'm like immediately surprised to see like 50 Palladium books on his shelf. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, Palladium is one of our inspirations. Your worlds and your world building. That's why we flew you in to talk to people. And so I'm really nervous. And they had sent me a list of the questions they were going to ask, so I had an idea what was coming. But I'm really nervous because, one, I'm afraid, just like at that talk that Heathen Dog came to at the museum, I'm always afraid that there'll be like 3 people that show up. And so I go. That's funny. So they have this cool auditorium that sits, I don't know, 300 people or something, and like it's almost packed. And I'm like, holy shit. And they asked me all these great questions. They videotaped it, everything for their archives, and so people can watch who couldn't make it, and so people could watch later. And we talked about all kinds of world building. They asked all kinds of great questions, which I wish we had a video of that. I asked them, can I get a video of this? Because these are great questions, and I think I was pretty hot when I was firing back answers, and they're like, nope, sorry, proprietary to Blizzard. And I'm like, I can't even have it for my personal use to show my wife.
No, we don't trust you. We like you, but we don't trust you.
Well, apparently. And but it was really cool. And when you get to their campus, like they're divided, at least back then. There's this big courtyard area, and there's these 2 big skyscrapers and office buildings that are both Blizzard. And there was this really cool statue of an orc, and it was amazing experience. It was really fun, and it wasn't like just come in, talk. They took me out to dinner, and lunch. And
well,
then,
yeah, I mean, at the time, Blizzard had World of Warcraft, and they just came out with StarCraft 2, so they had the most popular MMO ever, and they had the what I think is inarguably the most popular RTS.
Yeah.
StarCraft
real-time
Wings
strategy
Liberty.
game as well in Star Trek 2, StarCraft 2. So yeah, they were flush and they were big and they were treating you like a princess, and that must have felt good.
It did. And like when I say we went to dinner, I mean, it's like me and I don't even know who everyone was, but there was like, 15 or 20 other people there. And that was pretty cool. And then I get this tour, and like you said, they're at their pinnacle, they're huge, and they're like, no one's supposed to outside the company can see this. Even some people in the company aren't allowed
Can't
to
see
see this. But
Wow.
this is our command center. And because you can't take any photos, and they open it up, it looked like freaking NASA in a moon launch. I mean, there's all these clocks with different time zones and like a map of the freaking world and all these screens. And it was just this, I'm like, am I at NORAD? Is this NASA? And it's like, okay, that's enough. And they kind of pull me away.
Get out of here. Shut your hole. You never saw this. Get out of here. We never met.
I had not even thought about the whole time zone thing because it's an MMO, it's live, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, you have to have everything set up for people around the frickin' world. That's amazing. So what an undertaking. And anyways, it was really cool to see. And then they loaded me down with all kinds of loot. They gave me all kinds of cool things. I walked away with a Minotaur mask, the giant Minotaur mask, and which Kathy and I added to our Halloween display. And a giant, like 8-foot Minotaur. And so that was just really cool. And like I said, it wasn't just come in, make us, give your spiel and go home. They showed me around. I got to see all the different cubicles. I got to meet a bunch of the artists, and that was awesome. And I walked by and I'm like, I didn't realize that Brahm was working for them. And yeah, I don't know if it's something he talks about a lot. But I'm like, Gerald Brahm, as in like Brahm, and of course it was, because there's like, oh yeah, he only comes in, he only works like on site like 3 months out of the year. And I'm like, I know Brahm. It was very cool. It was a really neat experience, and part of it was just to get a glimpse at the inner working of something that's so massive and that so many gazillions of people have played their games.
Mm-hmm.
It was really neat to see the inner workings, and it was a nice honor. Like I said, I was shocked that so many people came to hear me talk, and they're like, but of course you're like one of the premier world builders. And I'm like, I am.
All right. Oh, no, you're muted.
You're muted.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, that's because my wife is bugging me. Never mind. Also, I think I have a follow up, but you really did answer it. So I'll move on to the next one. On the other side of the house, so you did we had Blizzards. We're talking mega computer game company right there. Was that before Activision, by the way, or was that just strictly Blizzard at that point?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
good.
before the
Yes,
Activision.
Yeah, the Activision merger didn't happen till much later in the 2010s.
So on the other side, obviously you're trying to work out deals for the Rifts movies, and I'm sure there's even more in line with that. I mean, you've said here before that you've talked with people that say they've inspired by either Rifts or your writing or whatever. I would like to go into a little bit more of that in terms of, don't have to name drop unless you want to. We love name dropping here, but I guess what kind of recognition have you got from that side?
Again, it's mostly like personal, and I'm always surprised when they give me such profound credit. But one of those people was Joe Manganiello. In fact, he gave me one of his, when he did some bodybuilding book at one point, and signed it to the architect of my childhood.
Oh wow!
I see you followed that book through too.
Right.
Yeah, you got buff. Yeah.
No, although there was a great heading in the book somewhere, which was like, you should only eat what you need. That's sort of a comment on snacks and stuff. Eat healthy and try not to eat so many goodies.
I need snacks. Shut up.
And then another one was Russ and Marshall Thurber. They brought Russin in to do one of the runs at doing a Riffs movie, and I met him through that. And he tells me how, and Joe Manganiello said the exact same thing, which is, Kev, I was playing Turtles and Heroes Unlimited and Ninjas and Super Spies, and then we found Riffs, and wow, man. And both of them said they realized playing our games, they were both game masters, that they realized they wanted to be filmmakers, that they wanted to write and direct and create movies, and in, of course, Joe's case, act. And I'm like, wow. And they attributed that to me. That was pretty amazing. Sophie Campbell, we've talked about this before. She's a huge Palladium fan and gamer, still plays our stuff every weekend, which is very cool. And she discovered freaking Turtles through the Ninja Turtle game, not the comic books. And, our stuff inspired her to go on to follow her dream as an artist writer. And she'd go on
IDW.
write and illustrate Ninja Turtles, and she'd go on to, right now she's doing Supergirl, writing one of the two Supergirl books, and doing a lot of the art for it too. She's a really kick-ass artist as well as a kick-ass writer. I'm probably forgetting people, Sean, but there's been like person after person who comes out and says, hey, your stuff inspired me to do this or that. And a lot of people in gaming, they played my games among others, and they're like, yep, it was playing your stuff that made me want to create my own games or go into game design. So that's
Sierra Nieli, who did the animated Turtles thing, he said that he also discovered Turtles, I think it was, through the RPG before he encountered the comics. And also Ross and Marshall Thurber wrote the introduction for the TMNT and Other Strangeness, this book.
Yep.
And you can see Sophie and other people's write-ups too in there. So there's a lot of cool stuff in the forward and the behind the scenes section at the end of the book as well, where you can hear from a ton of people about, it's Turtles is kind of tied into the origins of Palladium, right? So you hear a bunch of people talk about their experience and how it inspired them.
Yeah, and it's a kick for me to see, and some of these names would mean nothing, which is why I hesitate to bring some of them up. But like Brandon Ayton of Wedding Games, he's got a number of successful independent RPGs out, and some tabletop, other like more board gamey games. And we met when he was just a wee lad, and at Origins. And he did some internships for me. And, I get a kick when he says things like, well, I took this away from my time at Palladium, and I took that away, and I include this in my game. And same thing with Ramon Perez. He hung out a lot with me. He was one of our major artists, and he went on to become a Eisner Award-winning artist, writer, and has worked on Spider-Man and The Flash and Thundercats and all kinds of stuff. And, I get a kick when he says things like, oh, yeah, Kev, I took away your work ethic, and I did this and that. And I saw you do this and that at your company. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do with my company. And it's like, oh, I'm glad I inspired people to do that and gave them a little extra something there. So yeah, it's there's a lot. Like I said, I'm sure I'm forgetting all the famous people. I'm always surprised when they're like, "Oh yeah, I play you."
Was it Ryan Dancy? Was it someone else? You told me about the letter they sent talking about how the Palladium Books universal system inspired them to do the 3.0 at WotC.
Yes, yeah, they Ryan Danson. I kept that. It was an email, and I kept that email for many years. And along the way, it either got stolen or lost. But yeah, Ryan Dancy, when they took D&D to the D20 system, he said that he had a shelf of thumb-worn books, Palladium books, because he told his team that he wanted them to study our books and our game system and see why people love it so much. and to create something even better. That was their agenda.
I have thoughts.
Apparently, the gist of the email was, we did this, so that's why you should join the D20 crowd.
Oh yeah,
with
that
the
was the
Palladium
gist.
games.
Was yeah. This is why you should do. You should turn all your books over to the OGL.
We would not be sitting here talking today.
No,
had
we
you
would
done
not
that.
be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you went that way, be like, all right.
Now, to be fair, you might be talking with somebody, much, much, much bigger, Matt Colville or, or Mercer or whatever, but you wouldn't be talking to us.
Yeah, which is
no,
fine.
no, it's
Oh, it wouldn't have been a good move for Palladium. Look, I think everyone realizes that after the whole OGL crisis a few years ago.
Yeah.
Suddenly, everyone, there was a lot of people who were saying, "Oh, Kevin should have gone OGL," and it's funny. People propose it as if someone came with a licensing agreement. That's not never really happened, right? But at the same time, it's like Kevin's been proven very correct on not wanting to jump into that and leaving Palladium's system independent and built on its own tradition.
It was also Ryan who nicknamed me the Machine, because back in the day, I was grinding out 8 to 12 new titles a year, and he's like, "You're a machine," and I'm like, "Thanks," because that's what we call you, the Machine. And then Sean, you found out that through your professor, I think that
Oh yeah.
Andy Peterson, that they run.
Yes. Yeah, my professor at University of Texas in Dallas, he moved out there into this neighborhood in Dallas, and his wife met Sandy Peterson's wife at a garage sale in the neighborhood. Found out, both their husbands work in the tabletop RPG industry. He worked on a lot of he worked at TSR on like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and then went on when they did, I think it was Pool of Radiance was the first. What were the first D&D computer game was? He then basically was on that team as part of TSR, and then kind of got the video game bug. But yeah, he found out that they invited him to their. Apparently, Sandy Peterson invited him, Michael Bro, to join their weekly game that he'd been running for like 15, 20 years. Reportedly, and they were playing riffs. So that was one of the craziest things that I've ever heard of. A creator playing someone else's core game. But I could get it. I could totally get it. That would be a
We're not
place where
saying we inspired Sandy Peterson. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, obviously,
no. But I could see if I'm writing books all the time and stuff like that, I might want to escape to a different system. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I know a lot of creators that do that they create their own. They obviously play test their own, but one, it helps them learn like little nuances and get fresh ideas. But I know a lot of people who create games but still play other ones. They're going to promote their own. They're going to play their, but yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's not the only thing he was playing. But it sounded like it was their kind of like long running game for, join kind of the bros kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, that's just a joke on Michael Bro's last name. It's Breault, I believe. That's French, so he's a bro. Yeah. Anyways,
MOON. That spells French.
All right. Well, I think we're getting to the point here where we got to come close to wrapping this up, because for the first time in a while, we also have a giveaway to do.
Yeah,
today.
We have a giveaway to do.
So, I mean, how one person kind of did that, but before you do that, Heath and Doug, I have one final conceptual question here. And it's kind of goes like this. You haven't won every award yet.
No.
It's time for you to imagine the award that you want. Your Hall of Fame award, the one that is going to be the epitome of your career and everything. So for your final most endearing achievement, whatever it may be, what do you want etched on that plaque if you could write it yourself?
Oh, geez.
Put you on the spot. And no changing this answer 5 years from now just because you had more time to think about it.
No, it's something I say all the time, and I think it's true. I think it's just unleash your imagination and follow your dreams. I did. That would be it.
And then what would you want younger designers to learn from your career path that got you to this point?
I think sort of the same thing. I mean, I think people hold themselves back. I think you need to just, think big, follow your dreams, always put your best foot forward, try to surprise people with your work. Give them wow factor, give them great art, story and art, characters and art. You need to, all that's all part of the equation to make great books, great games, great memories. So, and stick to it. I had lots of people tell me that I don't know what I'm doing, that why am I wasting my time? Who the fuck do I think I am? And that's where the follow your dream comes from. I didn't listen to these jerks. I had people, I have people to this day telling my game stinks, and they don't know why anyone plays it. Follow your dreams. Don't listen to these jerkweeds, and be true to yourself. And I think if you look at what Palladium has done, and it's why I brought Sean in, because he recognizes what we've done and he wants to continue the legacy of high quality, literate games that really push the envelope. Look to that and do your version of that. If I can do it, a poor freaking kid from Detroit, you can do it. So believe in yourself and do it.
All right. Eden Dog, Sean, do you have anything that you want to add that we didn't touch on today before I describe what we're going to do next time? If you want to show that, Eden Dog, go ahead. I didn't put it there. I mean, I have it up ready to go, but you actually have it here in
ready. Yeah.
But go ahead. You since you put
it, at first I have to find the message that goes with it.
It was a super chat.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yep. Oh, I got it. Yeah, this is from Franz. Franz. Is it possible to share a picture? Yes, it is. I'm working on a 3D model print as a gift to Kevin and Sean, and this is the print.
I love it.
Oh, that's so funny. I want one really bad.
There you go. It's appreciated already. And they don't even have it yet.
There it is. It's going to be on their desks.
It's
the one thing that would have made this better is if instead of a Coalition skull helmet there, if Kevin actually had Sean's head on his lap.
Oh, burn. No. So yes, now Franz, this is eagerly awaited.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Wow, that's funny. That's amazing.
It is. It's fantastic.
But Palladium has no fans, so it's a dead game.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. So next time that they're here, we're gonna have part 3 of this. I didn't think this was gonna happen, but I thought there's gonna be one live stream last month, but we're gonna put this into 3 parts, and we're gonna specifically talk about Palladium Books games and their influence on the hobby. Because we started with Kevin, then we went, Kevin did what, and then what happened in return for Kevin. Well, next it's going to be all about Palladium Books in and of itself, and it's the influence that it's had on the hobby of Palladium Books. What is this? Something about the reveal and the aftermath. I don't know. Licensed products, riffs, art. We got a bunch of things we're going to talk about next time when it comes to that, and then we'll get back to talking about some gamer stuff. But you know what? I kind of feel like
while Max is getting ready for the giveaway, I'm going to tell you what is pushed for next time. You see, I got a couple of good jokes in this one, I think, but not my best work. What's pushed to next time was the greatest article about Palladium ever written was written in a UK magazine in 1990 when
Do you
Rifts
have
came
that?
out. I do not have the book
Oh.
itself, but I was going to play it up as one of the greatest accolades ever, because this magazine, Games Master International, because it's British, they say Games Master because, you know, that's what they do.
Yep.
Gave you an 80% out of 100. 80% out of 100. You don't understand. The whole British stiff upper lip thing, they don't give praise to anything or anyone that is outside the British Isles. 80%, that's amazing. And I had a whole joke thing about it where we were gonna talk about it like it was better than the Presidential Medal of Freedom or whatever. But no, I gotta wait till next time. That sucks.
There you go.
Well, you might want to make a note, though. I mean, those two things that we did talk about today, like the Blizzard,
Yep.
Kevin being influential on Blizzard, and then Kevin being influential, at least according to how Ryan Dancy phrased things when he proposed that Kevin join the OGL. It made it definitely sound like it was a huge influence on the biggest competitor there is. So that's interesting, and that's pretty direct. You don't usually get direct mentions like that from a lot of these people. So,
Pardon me, I have to add a few people today.
That's fine.
No, you're good. Do what you got to do, man. People want
Too many super chats. How dare you?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, where I'm not on board with complaining about getting money. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm not. Nah, that's not me. I can't wait for Raid Shadow Legends to come at me. Come on. I can't wait to sell out. What's that Chamber thing? Harry's, whatever that is. Yeah, I'll do that too. I don't care.
I won't fault you guys, but
okay, I think I have everybody added in there.
One thing I won't do, I swear to God, the one thing I won't do is DraftKings. Won't do that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really get into gambling anyway. So
that is a lie. If they throw enough money at me, I'll throw away all of my morals. I am super easy. DraftKings, I'm sorry. Don't forget about me.
Well, while this is going on, if as always, folks, we do this for fun. I think I got everybody's name in there. That's really tiny on my screen. Heathen Dog's gonna have to read this stuff off, not me. But if I didn't, I apologize. But this is more for fun than anything else. But what is the giveaway? The giveaway is a $100 gift certificate for either Palladium Books or Drive Through RPG, whatever you prefer. I think it should be mandatory that's Palladium Books when we have Palladium folks on. So
yeah,
I think
fair enough.
But it just sounds right to me. So unless you can guarantee that your drive-through order is Palladium,
whatever. Don't worry about it.
Quick match, and let's go share the screen here. Share. And booyah. Yeah, Brett, you're gonna have to read this because you know I can't, right?
I understand.
Okay. Turn that off. Turn that off. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Did that say 150 yet?
Not yet. There.
Is that 150 or 120?
Yes.
Okay.
150.
Don't get a 4K monitor for games that don't. It's just with
scale. Yeah, that you can't scale up.
Oops, not change teams. I want to toggle selection. There we go. Okay, I think that is everything. That map isn't too bad, is it?
No, it's fine.
There's a dumb mountain in the middle again, so we're gonna lose people.
You know, there's always mountains. That sucks.
And in the meantime, I'm also going to talk about what we're covering next week as people are dying here.
Okay.
And I guess
first gray bar on the bottom half.
The in-game.
There it is.
Seriously, I can't see it.
You got it.
Okay.
All right, there it is.
All right.
Off the bat, Crafting Gamer dies in a transporter accident. He got teleported off the field of battle. Is that cheating? Yes. But
what it means is he ran the wrong way.
Suck it.
You see, it's got that circle. He ran the wrong way.
Yep. Nerdy Ogre implants a xenomorph. Oh, that was cold. That was some cold-blooded stuff right there. I don't like that. Timothy Forelli mercilessly mocks Phil the Thrill to death. That was horrible. Paladin convinces Sabrina Bernal Rios the floor is lava. And yeah, she believes it. And dies. Let's see. Walter MC tries to steal from Promethean. Nutty Squirrel finds what's left eventually. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I was raised a poor orc child summons tentacles which grab and drag Nerdy Ogre to a demon hentai world. That was incredibly specifically picturesque, and I don't like it. I'm angry about that. That is not good. James sends, I was raised a poor. Oh, another one. Yep, there's another one. I'm not doing that one again. Jeff Workman kills Fire Fritter with a sensitivity reader's red pen. That'll do it. That'll do it. That'll at least kill your career. Let's see here. Methodical GM sacrifices Doc Flamingo to dark gods.
And Doc Flamingo was so good on last Friday's stream too. Why would you do
now,
that?
Now he's fodder for a dark god somewhere. Squirrel Hermit dies waiting for Hunger Ewok to finish rolling 4 attacks, 3 parries, 2 auto dodges, and a dodge with modifiers. That is a complete attack against Palladium, and I'm for it. That's good. Man-o'-war neighbor of the beast mercilessly mocks Hungry Ewok to death. There's a lot of mocking here. Okay, everyone, be civil when you're killing each other. All right.
I don't know. Have you seen the chat?
Sensitive didn't die.
Rigged. Oh yeah, no. That's all giveaways on YouTube. It's all rigged. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Let's see. Sheriff Snorlax summons a glitter boy to blast Chris Zeba into next incarnation. Yes, completely obliterate him, turned him into, from a human being to bologna sausage mist. That's pretty much what boom guns do. Naga Hide Hobbies dies waiting for the red room to finish rolling. Oh, see more.
Where are these coming from?
I don't know.
I don't remember the red. Oh, the red room is a member. Never mind.
Yes. Joyce Demo kills the red room with serious hacks. Doesn't say what the hacks were, but they were serious. They were no joke.
I was actually kind of nervous that somebody was attacking the red room with this. Like, no, we
no.
We get along with them.
I thought this was fake. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is a thing. Jeff Workman eats Mondo hand. Nom nom nom. Okay. Make sure to wash your hands after that. Sheriff Snorlax gets another kill. Polymorphs Paladin into an elf who subsequently commits suicide because, elves are bad. Everyone knows that. Max knows that. If you're not human, you're doing something wrong.
Victor Gorch said, I hear the red room killed me. Sorry.
What's that?
Victor Gorch, I hear the red room killed me. There's some irony to that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
all right, apparently everyone's how many people are left?
I think there's just 2.
There's just 2, right? Yeah. Oh, there it is. Sheriff wins. Holy
That's
shit.
like the 4th time. Now for
Look at
full
that.
disclosure here, Sheriff is a real life friend of ours. This is like the 4th time he's won and he's never watched to collect.
So let's see if he's going to be here today. You know what? Today's the day. Everyone has hope, but everyone knows that hope is for suckers.
What's the date today? 15th March.
Today is the 15th. The Ides of March.
Oh, there it is. That's right. The Ides of March.
Yep.
You realize the last
Nah,
time
he's probably not here.
11th
No,
of
if he
January.
hasn't said anything yet, he's not here.
It'll be his 4th loss.
Yes, his 4th win/loss. Man,
and no, I don't play favorites with my friends and send them secret messages and say, hey.
No. You snooze,
Okay,
you lose.
well, with that, since we did have a winner, it's time to stop sharing. And
rigged against Italians. Yes. Rigged against Italians and Australians. Don't forget the Australian.
Australian doesn't exist. So I mean, so the things that I wanted to mention next week, I listened, and I didn't just listen to the Discord poll because I knew how that was going to turn out. I 100%, but I did a couple other polls, the biggest one being on YouTube, and came out across the board. The winner was Palladium Fantasy First Edition. So I'm going to start a series. Instead of going into Worlds Without Number, I'm going to be covering Palladium Fantasy First Edition. And I have revised in PDF. I'm working on trying to get the other one. Let's see because most of you guys like, you got to do the non-revised, got to do non-revised. Okay. I'll see if I can. I'm begging Kevin and Sean, see the public is shaming them right now into like, yes, Max, we will do that. But no, I'm going to try to work on getting that for you guys. Also, strangely enough, the #1 video that I created this year, #1 video, is actually something that Sean demanded I do. My story, I'm sticking to it. You were there. He demanded. You heard him demand it. He said, cover Palladium Fantasy. Do it now or we're never talking to you again.
I remember that. No,
that's exactly what I said.
It's exactly what he said. Actually, he even threatened your wife, if I remember correctly.
He did.
Yeah.
We know her family's in Japan. He's like, I'm close.
I'm close.
I know how to find him.
I can get him.
So I was like, you know what? I actually love my wife. I think she might even like her family. So, I'm not going to go that route. So I did a video, and it was a long video. This wasn't like just like a 15-minute video.
It was a
like
3-hour deal.
2, 3, something like that. And I just went through the book and said why it's better than Dungeons and Dragons or so. I don't even remember what I said. And holy crap, did that get a lot of views actually?
Yeah.
For a long video, like I broke all the YouTube rules and you weirdos watched it. So there we go.
What did I say?
Awesome. Yeah.
So when you do the OG Palladium fantasy rules, one of the things that a lot of viewers are going to be very interested in, I think, is how it compares to the second edition, right? So how it compares against the later iterations of the system. I mean, that's one of the things that it's funny. I know a lot of people owned and played TMNT, back in the day in '85, and the Redux is brought back, and it maintains that original flavor and a lot of the mechanics. We did expand some things as we've talked about in other videos, but it's really funny because a lot of people, I think, they forget that that's how Palladium used to play, just really fast and furious combat game.
Without SDC, I mean, the combats are a lot grittier. They're a lot more impactful and dangerous.
Oh yeah, in the 1E Palladium Fantasy, right? Yeah. They're very brutal. Yeah. Well, and like in the Turtles characters, for instance, they have SDC, but it's not a ton, right? No, it's not like
unless you have a turtle shell or something like that.
Unless that's like your thing is
you're a rhino or an elephant or whatever.
Right, right. And you pay the BioE for it, but otherwise, it's not. And as you guys talked about, the AR system's pretty good, but once you get really highly skilled combatants, even wearing a suit of plate mail isn't like a protection against everything.
Man, so that turned into a pretty big argument when I don't know if you read the comments.
When I did the armor and the
SDC and armor,
the AR SDC thing, I did a little 15-minute video on that or segment on that. There was a lot of chat like, oh no, I always use the rules as written because
so we both
skill is skill. If you're good, you should be rewarded, and I get that. And then there were people on my side who were saying, yeah, it should be rewarded, but plate mail should be plate mail too.
Wait, who's
on right? Because your house rule is that it's only the natural roll that can beat the AR.
Yep. You have to roll. You have to naturally beat the AR.
Because if you get high level characters with high
especially
prowess
you
bonuses,
depending on your physical prowess, you get to level between 5 and 9, and hitting an AR of 13 is nothing.
Right?
Yeah,
it's nothing. It's like I'll do it all the time.
It's I mean when the anyways the whole discussion.
I mean, it wasn't to say that the Palladium rules were bad, and this is what I was trying to get across because I was definitely contending with more people than he was on this one. But I was trying to say, look, you still get it to hit, you still get it to make a call, like all your bonuses to make a called shot, which depending on the armor that somebody's wearing, your called shot is already easier than trying to bust down the armor rating. Like you still get it for, I don't know, tackling. Armor isn't going to stop somebody from tackling you.
Yeah.
If somebody even put in there like you get armor resistance to that, like you wouldn't.
Then your armor's not going to do a whole lot. You're going downtown.
So
I mean, I mean, like if someone tackles you, you're still on the ground. You're still losing initiative, right? All these things. I mean, even if the armor takes the
damage, okay, but you're
still. But that's by design, right?
Yeah.
Super high level characters that are highly skilled in combat yeah, even in plate mail, you're in danger. You know what I mean?
So what we do though is we basically take the I'm going to poke you in the eye every time, so to speak, although that'd technically be a
Right,
called
right,
shot.
right, right.
What we do is everything else under the sun, at least the way I do it, I should say, you still get all your bonuses, your physical prowess bonus, you get everything. The only thing is you have to roll natural to get through the armor rating. So this actually makes, in some regard, tackles and body flip throws and so forth, getting people in compromising positions more important. And if you look at actual medieval martial art books, and no, I haven't stared through them, a lot of them that were getting your opponent off balance and on the ground.
Oh no, that's one of the things that as a whole other thing. Like, you know, there's like, was it HEMA or whatever, the thing where they get into the armor and wail on each other. I'm not really a big fan of that because I don't think it accurately reflects the realities of that period of combat. The coolest thing I've seen is they actually have these Japanese samurai competitions in Japan. And the only way you get a kill is when you strike the other person in an unarmored area. So they charge at each other. A lot of times one guy has like a lance or a spear, or, you know, all the, you know, the other guy's throwing stuff, or a sword. And then, like, unless one of the guys gets a good hit in there that's in an unarmored area, which is hard to get on their full armor, they're on the ground and knives coming out. And then they're getting underneath the armpit or the neck or something like that. But they still do it like really fast. I mean, when you watch these combats, it's really fast. It's like watching I don't know if everyone has ever watched an old Akira Kurosawa movie. He did all these famous samurai movies when people still remembered what samurai fights were like, and they're over like that. Like, it's just, it's all the skill comes down to like one or two attacks, right?
They are trained for decisive fight-ending blows. Every other blow is made to kill you and end the fight. That's it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I just wanted to make sure that people knew that we weren't busting Palladium's balls or saying that the
no, you guys are talking about an optional rule that you use in your home game, especially for high-level characters, because you had that problem at your table.
I made sure to give the rules as written.
Absolutely.
In my rundown, and then after that was over, I said, "Oh, by the way, asterisk here. This is what Max and I do for our games. If you are interested in something like that." Oh, okay.
The thing I find most hilarious about that.
Yeah, well, everyone was basically respectful, which was weird in YouTube comments because that almost.
But
doesn't
it did
happen.
get an inordinate number of people saying, "Why would you do that? Blah blah blah. You're ruining dice rolls," and so on and so forth. They're respectful, but they're still complaining about it. The thing is we both started this before we long before we met.
Yeah.
You guys both had the same house
decision before we met. When we both played Palladium separately, we made the same decision about armor rating. You know, that's just the way it is.
All right. Well, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It sounds kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if I would do it, but you know, it makes sense to you. Makes sense to me.
No matter what level you are, you see someone in plate mail armor, you're like, all right, this is going to be a thing. All right.
Or crack your neck and like, how am I going to take it? How am I going to either do I just keep chipping through this armor, or do I do something that puts them in a precarious situation? But just remember, called shots are a 12 or higher. Armor rate, plate mail armor is armor rate, what's 18? Just take 17. A called shot. I give you the bonus to attack with the called shot. You still get it, you know? Just take that little extra effort to do the called shot or tackle them or whatever, and you end up winning anyway. It's just, you have to put a little more effort into it. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna end this now. But it was a great show. I look forward to next time to find out how Palladium's influenced the hobby. So get your questions, comments, concerns ready for that. We already told you we're doing next week. And reminder, Friday on the Game Master Insight show, we are going to be talking about Palladium. I've labeled it Palladium Misconceptions, but I think the video is titled something effective like, "Is Palladium unplayable?" or something like that. Whatever. Clickbait. To get you on there. Yeah. But the whole idea is to come up. Here are the complaints about Palladium. Are they legitimate, or are they BS, or is there some middle ground there? Okay, we see where you're coming from, but 3 segments on that, 2.5 hours public, another hour private, where I'll bring in Nerdy Ogre and Walter MC, who are passionate Palladium fans as well, to add to the conversation. And that should be fun times for everybody if you're a Palladium fan. And I actually hope to do that with other game systems as well, but we're a Palladium channel more, so it's really easy to get Palladium folks to step up. So, but with that, I have nothing else. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful week.